I just saw our pictures. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the World Reach Championship presentation of the Saikyosen Team Battle. The Mahjong Saikyosen Team Battle. I just realized we always say Saikyosen, but in Japanese it does say Mahjong Saikyosen. Oh, actually in English I also wrote Mahjong Saikyosen. This is a team battle with 16 teams battling for a spot in the 2026 Saikyosen Main Event. 3 team members on each team, and the winning team will get... each member of the winning team will get a spot in the main tournament. The coveted, maybe the most prestigious Mahjong tournament in Japan. I'm here I'm sorry, let me just start over with that sentence. My name is Jenn from the Japan Professional Mahjong League. You may know me as mahjongjen on every single social media account that I know of. And with me today is Kurly, a Mahjong streamer and also owner of the DC Mahjong Club. Welcome, what's up?
How's it going, Jen? Hello, everyone out there. I'm excited to join you all in watching some wonderful, intense games of Mahjong here that we have for today.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be intense, and it is going, and it is not stopping, and I have been going non-stop for days, it feels like. But it's exciting, 4 days straight of commentary that we are bringing you. We had the Sankei Shimbun Cup for 2 days, yesterday, the day before, and we have one more stream of the Saikyosen Team Battle tomorrow as well. So today we're going to have 2 games. The first table is going to be pretty exciting. We have some pretty exciting players today that we're going to be watching. So let's go ahead and introduce the system. It's not the normal system that we usually use for tournaments or team battles, I guess you would say. So first of all, we'll get into the Saikyosen rules, which is a lot like the WRC rules. So normally with the Saikyosen, Saikyosen has a lot of qualifiers and they have the main tournament, so they usually do the 25,000 point start. But for this event, because of the special point system, everybody's going to start with 30k, and there is no Uma, no Oka. There are no ties, so whoever has the first dealership gets the priority if players end in a tied score at the end of the game. No busting, no ending on a dealer win. There is head bump, so you can't have a double ron on a double win on a discard. No abortive draws, no blessing of man, which is my least favorite rule ever. And no nagashi mangan. I mean, not having blessing of man is my least favorite rule.
Yeah, but overall, a fairly standard rule set. There's nothing real crazy within the rule themselves, but the team structure is what brings the uniqueness for this game, for this entire league. As we can see right here, is what's focused on here is placements. Leading into what Jen mentioned before, there is no Uma. The main points that you're worried about is placements, because that's going to give your team a number of points, and that is determining your placement in the overall league.
Right, so it looks very small, and it ends up with a lot of ties, at least so far in the matches. It's a total of 7 sessions. We're going to be broadcasting session 4 today. So there's a lot of ties within the standings, and the tiebreakers for those are going to be the overall points, and that's counted by however much you have above or below 30,000 at the end of the game. So you will see both of the table point scores and also the total scores on the score sheet. Do you have the score sheet? Going into that would be it. So everybody has played 15 games so far since going in. I guess we finished 15 games last week, and at the top of the standings is DD Studio, which we have seen DD Studio featured as the featured team on the table. They are actually the featured team on the table again today, I think maybe because they are in first place. I think there's not enough broadcasts to feature every team once, so they're not rotating through. So we're going to see one player from DD Studio in every game today and tomorrow. And bringing up the rear is all serious. It just can't seem to catch a break. They have accumulated 16 points over 15 games, which means that they were not last every single game. But
yeah, what stands out to me is that these point spreads are not big at all. Where between each team, there is only 1 or 2 points difference at max. So still plenty, we're still only halfway through the league, still plenty of games to be played, still plenty of opportunities for these placements to be shifted around left and right.
exactly, and that's the ties that I was talking about. So you can see DD Studio and Aokei both have 26 table points, and their earned points are what makes the difference. And DD Studio just is way more than Aokei, so Aokei is really going to try and get ahead of DD Studio when they're at the same table as them today and try and kind of push themselves into the lead. But 3 points, you know, if DD Studio gets a last place and let's say anybody in the top 7 gets a first place, then they will overtake DD Studio. So yeah, still lots of room to make a comeback for all the teams still at this point. And you can see on the right side what each placement wins the team after 7 sessions. So the playoffs are not going to be until November, but only one team is going to be cut from the herd after 7 sessions. So everybody has something to play for still, right up until the very end.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see that these placements are going to determine who you play against in the playoffs. And so having a higher placement, especially if you can get that first round bye, could be massive for ensuring your placement in the overall tournament.
And another thing I want to mention, if you're used to watching the Sankei Shimbun Cup, where each group plays the same teams for the entire season, for the entire 10 sessions. In this case, they change tables every single game. So you're playing 5 games against basically all the teams every single session. So we're gonna see players from different teams every single game for every single.
I do like that system a lot. I like seeing a bunch of different matchups.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's advantages and disadvantages to both. This system, it makes it a little bit easier to keep track of the teams throughout the entire season. With the Sankei Shimbun Cup, you kind of get stuck watching. You see one team for one, session, and then you don't see them again for like 5 more sessions. So, yeah, in this format, you can kind of keep an eye on everybody a little bit closer throughout the whole season. And we have our teams for today, or for the first game. You can see in the east seat is going to be Kazunori Takizawa. Super famous player, famous already when I joined the league, as an M-leaguer for the Mahjong Fight Club team. In Aokei, he's representing Tomozoe Shoten. And then representing Aokei, the Keirin news site, is Chiyu Misaki. Aokei, of course, also has a team in Sankei Shimbun Cup, so you might recognize that name. And also Chiyu Misaki is playing in the Sankei Shimbun Cup, so we have seen her play many times so far. Shota Taira, representing AMC Dental from the Nihon Pro Mahjong Association. We've also seen him on a featured table, I think, almost every broadcast so far. Toru Yajima, representing Nihon Pro Mahjong Association, and also Team DD Studio, who also has a team in the Sankei Shimbun Cup. So we have a lot of overlap with sponsors as well, which also makes it kind of fun to follow. If you're following all these broadcasts, you'll see these names come up over and over again.
Yeah, one thing I also want to point out for the viewers out there, you are looking at the current first, second, third, and fourth teams that are about to be played right now. So a lot on the line for this game. This is going to be the game that determines if any of these teams really break away from the top of the pack.
Yeah, it's going to set the whole tone for all 5 games that we're going to watch between today and tomorrow. Exciting stuff. And we can mention our sponsors, and then we'll be ready to get into the game. Of course, we are sponsored by the World Reach Championship. You can start the game, that's fine. We can talk about it while they get set up and give their bows. we are, of course, it's the World Reach Championship channel. The World Reach Championship is happening the first week of July, and we will be there commentating in English. Curly's gonna be there. Jen's gonna be there. Garth's gonna be there. Other players are going to be playing. Other commentators are going to be playing in the tournament. It's gonna be exciting, and also the U.S. Professional Mahjong League, uh, based at Sparrow's Nest in New York City.
I gotta say,
Mm.
I am so excited for WRC in the next few weeks.
I'm
I just
excited
can't
too.
wait
I
to
feel like I need 2 more weeks though.
it felt so far away, and then now all of a sudden it's so close.
Yeah, I think if I had 2 more weeks, I would still need 2 more weeks though, so
Yeah, the classic.
excuse me.
All right. Looking at these starting hands, nothing too crazy. I noticed that a lot of the players had a nice collection of pairs in hand, although it looks like Takizawa is going to have a nice shape going on there, maybe able to stray away from the pairs that they have and go for a regular hand. Looks like
Yeah,
a wand of bamboo picked up from there is going to help make that potential 1 2 3 of bamboo run going.
Kizawa completes a sequence and locks it in, discarding the 8 bamboo. So this
Ooh,
is
that
7,
6
8,
of bamboo
9.
is so good there.
Yeah, I think that makes Taira maybe just 1 away.
Yeah, we'll have to see when it comes back around, but it looks like Takizawa is also progressing really fast too.
Takizawa just upgrades to a possible Ipeiko, the double sequence shape, by discarding the 9. And there it
What
is. It
a
was 1 away. Now it's
fill!
it's Tenpai.
That's crazy. You just hit that, slam the turn 4 Riichi with no information about your discards. That's terrifying.
Yeah, the only thing is it's a pairweight with an edge. It's the 9 dot and the 8 character. The only thing about that, usually you're happy, but there's already a 9 dot out on the board, so it might be a little bit thin as a
Yeah.
winning tile. But he did discard the 6 dot, so it's kind of a retrospective Suji trap.
Yeah, it can be really misleading for that Suji trap and might trick these players. But one thing that Taira is going to have to worry about is that they did such an early Ricci with such a bad weight. As the misses continue to happen and we get later in the game, there will be more information about what he's potentially waiting on. And if the other players get into Tenpai, they may be bold enough to try to challenge it with a way better weight and potentially for even more value.
Yeah, I think we'll see Takizawa challenge it as the dealer. Lots of good shapes in his hand still, of course. And he'll get there. He's a little bit worried about that 3 characters, so he's holding on to it in case something sticks to it, and then he can probably discard like the 9 bamboo, 8 bamboo. But I think if we see a Tenpai that he'll go ahead and push that, take that risk, even though it's a straddle Suji to the Dora.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that three, it just lingers so much in their hand. Ooh, we have a 7 of characters pick up. I'll help complete that run over there.
Oh, the
Oh,
9
and
comes
there it
out
is.
right away. Yajima does not even hesitate. Just that is a tile it might deal in, but it's worth the risk, and he didn't even have to think about it.
And all things considered, it was a very cheap deal then.
Yeah, just reach.
Yeah, just reach. They're going to get a little extra points out of it because they did have that triple in hand to get them some extra foo. But for all the hands that you can deal into, you're definitely okay with dealing into that.
Yeah, and it already moves the dealership to Misaki. Just look at her hand. Looks like she has some terminal and wow, Power of the Dora there, the north.
Oh yeah, that's going to really juice up the hand, especially like as dealer.
Yeah, the
It's not
only
even her seat wind as well, so she can't call it, but she could lock that in as a pair and try to go for a Pinfu shape if the hand works that way.
yeah, the problem is she does have a pair of 9s as well, so it's gonna be a little bit difficult to navigate Um, unless she gets some extra blocks and she can release one of them. Or if she gets an early tempai, she might go for that same pair weight, the shabo weight.
Ooh, Takizawa is kind of in a sticky situation where he has a decent hand, but he has this one Dora just hanging out there. We'll see how long he'll hold on to it. He'll try to incorporate it into their hand or just hold on to for dear life. Make sure you don't deal it into anyone else.
Misaki releases the south, the two valueless tiles, the west and the south that she's discarded. She hangs on to the east for her double east potential, as well as the red dragon.
Yeah, and Takizawa has this red dragon pair in hand and just waiting for someone else to discard it for them to grab it.
Yeah,
And
possibly.
Taira
It'll be
also has a white
interesting.
dragon in hand as well. Might try to get those too, but if their hand forms out, they might just use it as the pair.
You can see Yajima squeezing those honor tiles in his hand. As not. Oh, there's a red dragon, and Takizawa will pawn immediately. I was kind of interested to see if he would or not. He does have two. Oh, and the white dragon also pawned immediately by
There we go.
Taira.
Yeah. That's kind of one of the key things that I like looking out for these professional players is do they take the first honor to just complete out their Yaku?
Yeah, so there'd
And
be a
it's
few
kind of a coin
factors
flip.
that kind of determine it. So one of them is he had a lot of really good shapes in his hand, a lot of open-endeds left in the hand even after he called. So easy to call with, easy to win with. A lot of
Yeah.
times when you see them decide not to is when either they have bad shapes and no value.
Yeah, you don't just want to call in that single Yaku high and you're still like 3 away. You're just putting yourself in a really exposed state.
Exactly.
And
And you
looks
might do it if you have a lot of value for it, but those are the factors you're going to think about when you decide whether to just call the first tile or not.
looks like Takazawa is going to make another call. Finally going to get rid of that Dora. And it passes. Yeah, Misaki has could have like technically they could have called the triple on it, but then they have no Yaku. They're stranded with it. They don't want to be tempted by that. They're okay with just having the two staying closed. And looks like Taira is going to call once again, put themselves in the tempai, waiting on the 4 and
But it deals
7 of
into
characters, but
Takizawa.
it is going to deal in.
Just a really quick one. They both had really similar hands, just one Yakuhai and lots of open-ended shapes, no Dora. They couldn't seed two of the Dora, or three of the Dora, so winning quickly kind of is a defensive play against whoever might have a pair of Doras like Misaki did.
Definitely. Yeah, it's better to just try to get the quick win in, let the hand go, and try to get any sort of points that you can. As we move on to our East 3, the game's going pretty fast. We got some really quick, cheap hands here. Taira, as the dealer, is going to have a pair of the red dragons that they can call, and a bunch of other pairs too, though I don't think this is the time that they'll go into a 7 pairs route. Not this time around.
Yeah, probably not as dealer when you have a value tile and he has those good shapes that we were talking about. A lot of open-ended, some of those connected with a pair as well. So really easy hand to call after you call that red dragon as well.
Exactly. But it doesn't look like any of the other players have a red dragon in hand, so it might be. Oh, wait, we do have Misaki with one. We'll see how long it takes for her to discard it. I do see a lot of times these pros, if they do have those honors tiles that could be used by other players, they tend to hold on to them a little longer than I would expect.
The 7 pairs is taunting Taira. He might end up going for he's only one away for all pairs now, so even though it's not ideal as dealer, in my opinion, he might end up just taking the tempai if he gets it.
Yeah, fair enough. Um, ooh,
I
a
think
Dora
that's
pickup?
and a pair, yeah, I think Misaki we also might see go for the all pairs just because she has so many poor shapes. It's really not a callable hand. Um, all pairs with 2 Doras can be worth a lot.
Yeah, and it might be the only way you can actually complete the hand. So go for the hand that you're given. Ooh, double white discard. Should have known.
That's called the sacrificial pair. I heard that from a streamer on Twitch before, and I really like that. When you're going for all pairs, you have the sacrificial pair. And she actually has two sacrificial pairs in her
Oh.
discard. All of her discards so far are sacrificial pairs.
I have the opposite mindset where if I think I'm going for 7 pairs, but then I've discarded 1 or 2, that's just the sign that it's cursed and I'm not gonna get the others.
I think
And
I
so I
read
get off
somewhere
of it.
you generally, when you go for 7 pairs, you get an average of like throughout the entire hand, an average of like 8 or 10 pairs. So maybe you should hold on to it just a little bit longer.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know the numbers on that. I'll keep that in mind next time for sure.
You should look up the real number, or you can just take my word for it and just kind of.
I'm a play by feel player, not a play by numbers player.
Okay, so that's probably good enough then. My endorsement of 8 to 10.
Oh, yeah. Alright, but we have a Riichi Slam over there, from Takizawa.
Yeah, he's waiting for a Shavo too. We've had nothing but Shavo waits, it feels like. And there was the open-ended win, but
Ooh.
lots of Shavo waits so far in this. The Shavo is, of course, when you have two pairs and you're waiting for one of them to triple up. So he's waiting for the 8 dot or the 4 bamboo, which are kind of rough um, weights for the pairs. And Misaki is one away for the all pairs hand.
Yeah.
Taira's
I
still
noticed
one
that
away.
Taira, could have gone into Tenpai the last turn, uh, against the Riichi, but they didn't want to have potentially deal into a Patsu, so it looks like they're just gonna fold it out for a little bit. Maybe they can get back into Tenpai, but they didn't wanna be the one to deal in.
Is it Tempeh? It's kind of one
Yeah, it looks like
away-ish.
Taira is just completely out of this
Now
one.
it's
They didn't
Tempeh.
want
No,
Ooh,
Tempeh for
now
Taira.
yeah, you're right. They managed to get back in with 7 pairs. That's interesting. Now just waiting on that 7 of bamboo.
7 bamboo, which is a Suji to Takizawa's weight as well. And it's floating there in Misaki's hand. That'd be interesting
Yeah,
because
we
she's one away. If she gets to Tempeh, is she going to go for the harder to win 7 where she can discard the safer north? Or is she going to try and wait for, um, an easier tile to win with and discard? Nope, she'll just fold out. It's not really exactly a fold. It's kind of a mawashi, which she's rolling the hand over. Kind of see what happens. Probably a fold, but she could maybe come back.
Yeah, definitely going back a few steps. Yeah, going back a few steps, but is going to play it safely. There is a chance that she can get back into Tenpai, maybe make some calls to form out those pairs into triples. For the meantime, everyone else is going to fold out it. Let's see. I didn't see how many are left on the Takizawa's weight, but there is only there is
Oh,
about to say there's only one
Taira
floating
draws it.
7 of bamboo out there, and he's gonna pick it up for the Riichi Sumo 7 pairs. Should be a Mongon, right?
No, not
Oh
quite a
yeah,
Mongon.
not quite a Mongon.
3,200 each. It usually would be a Mongon, but when you have the all pairs hand, it's only 25 fu, so it's a little bit less than a Mongon. Still more than a non-dealer Mongon, as dealer will get 3,200 points from each player.
Yep, and you're gonna keep your dealership on that. So best outcome that Taira could have come up with. Didn't look like they did get any under Dora, so I stand corrected. It could have been better. It could always be cooler.
I was one away from that. Had 4. It was the 4 dot as the indicator. He had to pair 6 dots. So close.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like oh my goodness, this is actually a really good starting hand. Has 2 completed shapes already, a lot of them in the middle. Can get a lot of value with that hand too, and a lot of acceptance.
Everyone actually has pretty good shapes. Takizawa's is slow, but he has all the blocks there. Misaki's hand is
Ooh.
really slow, but there's potential for scores there.
Isaki's hand
But
is very interesting.
I might end up
There's a
all
lot of
pairs
ways you can
again,
take it,
yeah.
and they all feel degenerate.
If you're new to the stream, you spell degenerate with a J here.
I like that a lot. Ooh, okay. Interesting choices to be made. So there's a bunch of middle tiles that she can get rid of. Uh, she could potentially go for the 13 orphans, Kokushi, Yakuman, but she also has a lot of pairs with it as well. So she has a few options, but like I said before, they're all for very crazy hands that are hard to hit. We'll see what tiles she draws and how it informs her decisions.
Yeah, it looks like yeah, she's hedging a few things. Most likely is all pairs, but who knows in Mahjong? Nobody knows.
Yeah, just got to play the tiles that you're given. I was mentioning before, anytime that 7 pairs happens, it seems to be like the only Yaku that ever shows up.
Yeah, they do call it toitsuba, a pair like board basically. Means
Oh,
everybody's getting tons of pairs.
I just call it 7 guys at this point because when you go to 7 guys, it's 7 pairs is the only thing on the menu.
I think I was hearing you say that on stream yesterday or the day before. I
Yeah,
do
it's
like
crazy
that
that
as
all the
well.
games that I'm watching, it is just 7 pairs. I've
The
either blessed or cursed these games, even though they've already happened.
I think it has to be the curly curse because we have alliteration there and there's no way to make blessed alliteration with the name Curly.
But if it was really my influence, there would be a lot more conning going on. Okay,
Taira
damn.
lock it
Yeah,
in. He's gonna deny some pairs from his hand.
yeah, gonna clean up that shape on the 5, 6, 7 run and put themselves one tile away from being Tenpai. Ooh, all right. So it doesn't seem like we're gonna be going for 13 orphans from Misaki. Not enough honors out there, but they could probably convert into a 7 pairs, and that's probably the only thing that they can really do. But probably at this point, you're just thinking, let's just make sure I don't deal in with this not great hand.
Yeah, she kind of gave up on it with that East discard earlier. Now she's just one away for all pairs, and all of her weights are terminals.
Yeah, can be a very sneaky way to try to get these 7 pair hands going. Although if they Riichi, then a lot of the other players might be way more cautious about throwing those honors. But they don't have any other value otherwise. So I'll be interested to see the route that they take it. Although their hand is starting to form out to be a real hand.
I
They're
think
getting a
that
lot of connected tiles.
I think Misaki is aiming for the 9 bamboo single weight because she discarded the 8 bamboo so early, and she's really made her discards look like a flush, like a flush in the dots.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, that is a level of gameplay that these professionals are really keeping an eye on. Not just being efficient about what their hand is, but also trying to tell a story with their discards and deceive the other players into what they think their hand might be.
Yeah, you can see that. Look at all the characters in her discard, and she started with that 8 bamboo, so it looks like she had maybe a couple floating. If you were kind of imagining as her opponent what she had in her hand. Oh, uh, um, wait a second.
Gig is up.
She pawns. All right, so what did she just pawn? What was that?
I think it was
7,
the 8 of characters.
8 of characters. Okay, so her story is gone. The flush
Yeah.
story is gone.
The narrative we tried to give her doesn't work out. And that was
Mhm.
an interesting call because she doesn't have a Yaku otherwise. She has to get this white dragon going, but she could also get the north if that gets played because that is her sea wind.
Yeah, so if she ends up waiting on the north and the white dragon, she has a guaranteed Yaku either way. It's whether the other players, what kind of story they're reading from her discard.
Yeah, but Takizawa has two of the Norse in hand, so that's going to shut down Misaki's plan on that side. So it is just the White Dragon. One of them was already discarded turn one, so she only has one tile out there to be able to actually get a winning hand going. But as we get into this last row, she may just be okay with just trying to get into Tempai so that she doesn't have to do the end of draw payments.
Yeah, it's what I think most of the players now are going to be aiming for. We're getting towards the end of the hand, and nobody has gotten to Tempai so far. Just a lot of one or two aways.
Yeah. Oh man, Takizawa just completely stalled out with his hand. I'm looking at his like second row
Oh,
discards,
Tempai.
and he just did not get anything to progress him.
Misaki just got Tempai, and she's waiting for exactly what we talked about, the North and the White Dragon. So if another player gets Tempai and they draw the White Dragon, they may discard it. We'll see how dangerous they think it is, and also how much they value her hand at, because when you end up discarding tiles like that into something that might be dangerous, you also think you calculate into the risk how much you think their hand might be worth. If you read it as a mangan, then you wouldn't want to take the risk. But if you read it as, well, if it deals in, it's still only going to be 1,300, so we can kind of push it and just hope it doesn't deal in.
Yeah. What's interesting about this is the only way that you get a lot more value out of this is with the Dora. And then each of the player has a Dora, and they're going to, and Taira is going to use that Dora to get some extra points off of this ROM that they got on the four of characters.
Yeah, just Tanya and one Dora. I think 39 is 42. So
That's
she
correct
handed
with
over
the Honba.
5,200, yeah, and got 1,000 back. He kind of snuck his way into Tempai there while we were talking about Misaki's hand.
Yeah, and with that little sneaky hand, was able to keep their dealership and make this lead that they have just even further.
Taira actually has all the blocks that he needs, I believe. This guy's a 9 dot, maybe hoping that that 7-9 bamboo will shift over to an inside hand, the Tanyao.
Takizawa immediately is gonna triple up that east pair that they drew on starting. Try to deny Taira of any more dealership repeats and just try to get something going.
Yeah, you can see in the yellow their total scores. So Takizawa is playing for team Tomozoe Shoten, and Tomozoe is a big fan of Takizawa's. I was playing with Tomozoe. So Tomozoe is the owner of the Tomozoe Shoten team. He has a lot of businesses in Kyoto.
Okay.
So Shoten is kind of like the collection of his businesses. He has like restaurants and I think a deli and things like that, and a mahjong parlor. But so I was playing with Tomozoe in the first X Fooding Kazan audition, and that was back when Takizawa was still on that team. He has recently moved over to the Mahjong Fight Club team. Um, and I remember Tomozoe was so excited to take a picture with Takizawa, and he posted it. He said, "I'm taking this picture now so that next year when we're on the same team, we can be like, oh, remember back when we took that picture?" It did not. It was not a prophecy, but um, it just made me think like, wow, Tomozoe is really well known in the industry, and he's just like, as far as life goes, he's kind of a senpai for us, but with his business success. But he looks up to players like Takizawa.
Yeah, it's very cool to see someone with that kind of stature fanboying over other people as well. Hmm. Not not really working out for Yajima with that hand. It's like it was a quick call, but the rest of it isn't forming out. I really want Misaki to go for this con just because I love it, but reasonably it probably won't because that 5-7-9 of bamboo shape is pretty strong for accepting other tiles. You don't want to leave yourself hanging, not be able to accept the 6. Considering that the if you hit the Dora, maybe there's a chance you go for it.
Possibly. She could get the 6 and discard the 9 and then later con if she can draw the Dora later too. So lots of potential there. One away here for Taira with the double gutty, the 2-4-6 shape. It's a young con, which I like to call double gutty, poker term.
The double goody.
Yeah, the gut shot, shorten gut shot to gutty, and it's a double. Just trying to read these tiles backwards.
Yeah.
Right? Yajima is thinking right now.
It's always so interesting how long these players will hold on to these wind tiles that are just not part of their hand at all.
Yeah, we call it squeezing them. They'll look at what's on the board and who they think wants those wind tiles. They can hold on to them for two reasons. One, to squeeze so that other people can't call them. Another one is if they think it's going to be safe, they can hold on to it until they think other players have gotten to Tempai. There's that Dora. Are we going to see a con now? I think it's just two floaters if we count the
Mm.
7 dot as a pair.
Yeah,
She
we're
will
gonna
call.
go for the con now.
The reason that she took some time to think about it is there's two players that have not called tiles, and that means that they can still reach, which means they will have access to extra Dora.
That is true, but she had a lot of opportunities to get into Tenpai with that extra tile connecting either the 5 dots or the set of characters. So it was a pretty good time to do it. Unfortunately, she does not hit, and now this could be very dangerous.
Okay,
Not
we call this sticky one away. So if something, she still will be Tempai if something sticks to it. Imagine she's still. The only thing is if she reads Takizawa's hand as being Tempai already or not. She keeps getting these fake open-endeds, the 7-8-9-9 shape where she discarded the 9. Now it's a 2-2-3-4 shape. 2-2-3-4 shape is a little bit advantageous compared to the 7-8-9-9 shape because it leaves her the option still to shift to an inside hand.
Yeah, definitely an interesting way to go. Yajima Yajima's route is so interesting to me.
Yajima is really like thinking about Takizawa's calls and maybe trying not to advance his hand.
Yeah, still taking a moment with his 8 of characters. None of them have been seen. Gonna drop that 9 dot that was floating around in their hand. Ooh, and we
With
have
the
a
Tempai.
Tenpai waiting on the 5 and 8 of bamboo. Or yes.
Yeah, the 8 of course is Adora. Pair up of the 4 dot for Tai. Oh no, fill in of the 5 dot for Taira. So that double gutty got filled in.
Yep.
And now Yajima calls. You can't think that he's calling to win the hand. I imagine he's
Ooh.
calling
Oh no.
to maybe switch the Haite, the last tile.
Oh no, Misaki drew the dangerous tile. She has all the other 5s off of the con. So this door that she picked up is the only way that it deals in. Well, she sensed the danger.
I mean, yeah, she has to, I think. Yeah.
Yep, gonna hold
Mhm.
on to this Dora. She's not in Tenpai, so she's not gonna want to toss that Dora, especially when she's so far away. So gonna try to come up with a different route to get a winning hand.
Yeah, possibly or possibly just a Tempai. The problem is she's already discarded the 9 bamboo. It could have been a Tempai with a sun, like a double sequence waiting for the 7. So it's hard to think that she's really thinking she can still Tempai at this point.
Oh,
But
and that's gonna
Taira was
be
Tempai.
ooh, that's just gonna be a deal in. It's just a simple Pingfu Tanyao from
With a
Taira, and it's
Dora.
gonna. Was there a door? There was a Dora.
So 5,800 with 2 continuances. He did have an 8 bamboo, so 64 total. He is just steamrolling this table, and it's all sneaky, just sneaking into a little quiet tempai. No like big showy reaches or
Yeah, a strategy to just get the few hits in as your dealership. You're not going to go for the big wins, but when you dealership ends, you're going to look down. You're going to see this huge lead that you've accrued over the 4 or 5 hands that you've played. And you're going to be happy with that for sure.
yeah,
Just like
there
Takizawa was going to be happy with that starting hand.
remember AMC is trying to chase down DD Studio. DD Studio is in first place going into this game. You can see the yellow numbers right above the players' scores on the overlay. Those are the table points they had coming into this game.
Takizawa had a really, really great starting hand, and they're one tile away from completing it with a potential straight as well on the dots. Yajima going to take a moment to think about the route that they want to take. Going to drop this loose green dragon. It is not picked up. Oh, double five. Should have known. Seven of bamboo doesn't really do anything for their hand, but they don't have good tiles anywhere else. Yep, they're not going to try to get cute with it. Just keep that 5, 6, 7 bamboo run as clean as it is and get rid of the 7 now.
Takizawa is looking for a full straight in the bamboos 1 through 9. Very close on that.
I am curious to see if they get Tenpai without getting the 9. Are they going to be a little greedy about it? Or they're just going to take whatever hand that they can get and go for it?
Like with the 3 or the 6, you mean?
Yeah.
Hard to say. It's a nice little weight there with the 2 2 2 3 shape. Or you can switch to the 3 6 9 shape.
Yeah, it's just curious to see the play styles, whether they value just like going for the hand that they just got and just trying to win quick, or they will try to greed a little longer to try to get more value
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah, I was just trying to think. The thing about that is the weight that he would be left with is the 2 2 2 3 shape, which means the 1 and the 4 would still be Pinfu and still have a Yaku, but the 3 would not. So it was probably what would factor in. I think if you have a shape that's guaranteed Pinfu, then you just go ahead and wait for it. Because just 1,000, you pay 1,000 for an extra 1,000 otherwise for the reach,
Yeah,
and
that's actually a really good way. That's actually a really good way to look at it. Never thought about it. Paying the 1,000 to give you the 1,000.
yeah, if I mean you do have the Uradora chance, but that's not guaranteed. So I think you just count your guaranteed unless you have a really big reason that you need to take the risk and hope that Uradora hits. And
Yeah, going
in
for
the
a Hail
East round,
Mary
you don't
Ura.
have to do that. Yeah,
Yeah, I was about to say going for a Hail Mary Udadora is not something you're probably going to see in the first rotation on the East game.
yeah.
One pin's not gonna progress his hand at all. Takizawa, okay, yeah.
There it is.
This is where we
Nope, he
go.
will
Yep,
go
they're
for
just
it.
gonna
Just
take what they
the
can get.
the weight is too good, and probably, I mean, he might be kind of reading. There's not a lot of bamboos on the table, so he might be reading that those 9s are stuck in other people's hands as well.
Interesting. Yeah, 9 bamboo would probably be a tile that get discarded very early.
Yeah,
Oh,
but he
and there's
wouldn't
a
be able
9
to
of,
win on it, so
and we're gonna see looks like we're gonna see some folds out from the other players. They just don't want to deal into this, especially Taira. Taira doesn't have to do anything. He's got to preserve their lead. Ooh,
another thing
okay.
with Takizawa's weight there is that he's using 3 of the 2s, which means that it's really hard for anyone to use the 1 characters. So we call those blockers.
Yeah, but if you look at Takizawa's pond, it is nothing but dots. So this is actually kind of tricky. You don't know what's besides the 2 of bamboo in there, like, you have to be afraid that they're waiting on, like, a character flush.
Yeah, I don't think let me look at it for a second.
It's a lot of dots.
It
The only
is.
bamboo that they have is the 2 of bams.
I'm just wondering if you can actually read that as a flush or not. It does look like a flush, um, at first glance, but when you get to this level, I'm not sure the other players would actually read it as a flush. At least
Why is
it's not
that?
a typical flush. Usually the typical flush, you're going to end up with like an extra tile of that suit. Um, I mean,
The one that just doesn't fit.
yeah, you'd be wary of it, but you would say, okay, if it's a flush, it's not really a typical flush kind of thing. Also, you'd look at how many honors are on the board and try and, count some things, but
Yeah, Misaki picking up this one of characters, and it's gonna take a minute to think about it. Get some danger senses from all these tiles. Gonna end up dropping the west. It will be safe. And it looks like most of these players are just trying to fold out. Yeah. 4
yeah,
dot
I
was
mean,
played.
the thing is you get rid of all the dots, but when you run out of dots, then what do? You go to the edge tiles, and
Yeah.
that's
And
where
now you're
the
just gonna have to make
blockers
the
come in.
hard decision again. Yeah,
In
this
this
one
case
is
as
really
well,
tough.
yeah. And if she was Tenpai already, she might find that one character worth it to take the risk, because it's an edge tile. Edge tiles usually deal in a bit less, things like that.
Usually a bit less. It's interesting that she chose the 8 of bamboo over the 9. They're look about even from my basic looking because they're both edge tiles. The 9 is a little bit more edge, and you still get 2 free disc. You get another free discard if one passes.
I think that Takizawa is running out of winning tiles, or he's waiting for the 1, 3, 4. We can see all the threes, so those are gone. There's just 1, 4 here, and the 3 1s in Misaki's hand, so he was drawing really thin at that point, but we'll take 1,000 points from each player for the Tenpai, and the dealership will move to Yajima. We'll go into East 4.
The dealership is going to move, but we still have 4 repeat sticks in the middle
Yeah.
and the Riichi stick that Takizawa threw in. So these players are still potentially encouraged to try to go for a quick win to get those extra points in.
Everyone's far away, but they're all like neck and neck going for second place and trying to stay out of fourth place. And you'll see a little bit more fourth avoidance play in these rules than you would in normal live mahjong. It's really common in online formats, but not as common in live games to play last avoidance.
Oh yeah, usually. Ooh, okay. Just gonna grab those red dragons and get that Yaku in. They also have the pair of the East that they could pick up as well to get another Yaku going.
Yeah, the rest of the hand is really spread out, but um, when you have all these tiles that aren't connected to each other, they connect to a lot of draws. Which I think Harrison made that point yesterday on stream.
Yeah, there was for the WRC pro lectures that I was fortunate enough to get to join in. It was the subject was how do you evaluate your starting hand? And one of my big takeaways is a start you draw you start with 14 tiles, 13, and you draw 18 tiles throughout the game, give or take, which means that your hand can completely change throughout the course of a hand. So just because you have a bad starting hand doesn't mean that it's like going to stay that way. And I thought that was very, very insightful. Of okay, you have these bad game tiles to start, but it's very easy to all of a sudden 3 or 4 turns later to have an amazing hand.
Yeah, and he did mention as well. Oh, we have the opponent of the double ace that because you have 18 draws and you start with 13, every single tile in your hand can switch out by the end of the game. Taira
Oh,
with
but as
another
Yajima
hand.
tries to call this east, they're gonna deal it into Taira.
We have 3 Nihon Pro Mahjong Association players on the table, 1 JPML player, Japan Professional Mahjong League.
Yeah, not a big hit that Taira got on Yajima, but Taira is gonna maintain that first place, and the point spread between second, third, and fourth is so small. Barely 1,000 points between all three players.
Yeah. Going into the south round, everybody's going to start changing their goals a little bit. Takizawa, of course, is going to try and stay dealer as long as possible.
Yeah.
Misaki, I think Yajima might try and go for a little bit bigger hands for now. He has the advantage of being the last dealer, so you can kind of see what everyone else's hands look like, or scores look like before his dealership.
So we've
Yeah.
talked about good feelings when you get in Mahjong, and one of the bad feelings is when you get a triple of the East when as soon as it transitions into the South one. It's like, no, where were you last turn?
Yeah, I'd say that to my tiles a lot.
Where were you?
Freaking late. You're supposed to show up a long time ago.
Well, Taira is going to be able to call the green dragon triple, and with that triple of East in their hand, and it looked like they had a bunch of edge tiles as well. They might be able to go for like the half outside Chanta hand.
Yeah, it could be, but also his goal in this hand is, or for the rest of the game basically, is just to move the hands as quickly as possible. So he doesn't really need to think about value in his hand, he really needs to think about speed. So
Definitely true. They'll just whatever tiles that they get to complete out the box as quickly as they can will definitely be their goal.
yeah, so an outside hand might happen, but I think it would be a happy accident and probably not something he would aim for.
Yajima
Yajima.
taking a moment on this one.
He has a three-sided weight there, but kind of deciding what to do about his pair. If he wants
Yeah,
to
they
lock
could
in
you could
this.
set up three-sided, but that requires dropping that 7 characters Dora.
Yeah.
Okay, gonna drop the red dragon pair. Looks like they're gonna try to get their hand into an all simple shape and
Yeah,
give their hand a little bit more acceptance.
that's where the contemplation came in because you can call the red dragon if it comes out, but if it doesn't, you're kind of screwed. And so it's a little bit easier to call for the inside hand.
Yeah, and those 7 of characters are definitely worth way more in their hand than just the red dragon Yaku, if they even get it.
What a fill in for Misaki. She filled in, she had a 6-7-8 shape, a 6-8 shape in the bamboo and filled in the 7. I think that put her 1 away.
You just feel the feel good moment is when you fill out those close shapes. You're just like perfect, exactly the tile I needed.
Yeah, she's 1 away. A possible 3-4-5 Sanshoku
Ooh.
as well, the mixed sequences. She's thinking about, okay, there's also a full straight possibility there.
Yeah, the white dragon was definitely the easy discard. I think they just took a moment to think about their options for calling, so they know exactly what their plan is and not have to hum and haw about it uh, when the opportunity arises.
That's one thing, and also maybe thinking about because there were, oh, was there already one on the board? There was already one white. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 2 white dragons on the board. Maybe trying to consider if it would be better to keep it as a safe tile or not. Um, as we get later in the hand, but I
Possibly. Ooh,
yeah, I think for this hand you definitely want to push it as efficient as possible. You don't have to worry so much about keeping safe tiles. The one bamboo is probably going to be safe to players. Who knows? Probably fine. Surely it's fine.
how bad could it be? Okay, one of characters is gonna come out. Yeah, try to keep themselves open, making those one of bamboos their pair, and keep themselves open for uh the triple suit run, the Sanshoku as you mentioned.
Takizawa is still holding on to that double gutty. He has a 2-3-4-4-6-8 shape in the characters. It will come around in a second. He did draw the 2 and ended up discarding it, choosing double gutty shot over the twin sequence. And he's just gonna hang on to that until it fills in, or he tempais somewhere else.
Oh, now you have your own Dora. Okay, they're gonna get their double gut shot hand themselves, waiting on the 4 and 6.
It's catching on. I love it.
Yajima, I'm gonna make that call. Try to get a all simples hand to cash in these 2 Dora that they have. Takizawa picking up a 2
Another 2
characters
character.
themselves.
Yeah, he already had that. That already came once, and he discarded it right away. Now he's like, the other players' calls and have come into his contemplation now. And he'll shift the double gutty down to a 2-4-6 shape instead.
I do just love seeing the professional players make their discard choices because it's not just a matter of efficiency. They are really truly they are playing against the players, truly. This is a level of mahjong that I absolutely love.
Yeah, and I think Misaki and Taira haven't been around quite as long, but Yajima and Takizawa have definitely played against each other many times. They've both been around for Takizawa longer than me. Yajima, I think, around the same time as me. I've also played with Yajima many times. We traveled to Macau together for the World Series of Mahjong. One of my favorite people in Mahjong, actually. He's one of those people who's always smiling. He's
Great
also, I think
attitude.
he was the coach or the director of maybe the DD Studio team for Sankei Shimbun Cup last year. And one of the first people to subscribe to the WRC channel as well.
Nice.
Yeah. I saw him in the
Very
hallway,
cool.
like, subscribe. And he
Be
did
sure
it
to
right
like,
away.
comment, and subscribe.
Hmm.
Okay. Misaki is gonna grab that 6 of characters to lock in that Dora.
Just taking Tenpai. She can go for
Yeah.
the the Haite hand, the Haite win, but
Go for
otherwise no
Haite.
Yaku.
There is a world where she can potentially find. Is there a world where she can find a pair somewhere else and drop the one of bamboos? And I mean, you have to get some very exact draws. I have to look at the hand again.
I don't think so. I think maybe she gets, I guess, no, because she discarded the 2, so she can't shift up in the bamboos either. She'd have to actually get rid of Tenpai once. Um,
Yeah,
no,
there.
she
Yeah, it
can
doesn't look
decide
like she'll
whether
have
to do
enough.
that or not. Yeah. Because if she does that, she can always chi with the dots and re-Tenpai, or pon with the dots. But she'll just keep the Tenpai shape.
Okay, I'm gonna pick up the 6 of bamboo and now drop this 1 and 2 bamboo shape. It's slightly more efficient, gives them better chance of hitting Tenpai.
And that's Tenpai for Takizawa. Of course, no Yaku for Takizawa either.
Yeah, very interesting that many of these players are fighting very hard just to get Tenpai with no Yaku, just to make sure that they don't have to get the payments. And with the point leads so close, that is like going to be very important to get. I
Exactly.
this kind of mahjong is fascinating to me because it's not just all right. We're going for the big haymakers. We're going for the big. It's a lot of small jabs jockeying for a position, and it's just really cool to watch.
Small ball mahjong.
Yeah, this is the mahjong lovers kind of mahjong.
Chi for Yajima to also lock in that Tenpai. Though I
Yeah, and
think
everyone's gonna be
Yajima
taking each
has,
other's tiles just to get Tenpai.
yeah, I think Yajima, Takizawa was Tenpai, but chi'd to re-Tenpai because his West tile is safe and he knows he can't win on a discard anyway. So he decided, instead of drawing a dangerous tile for his Tenpai, he decides to chi so that he can have a guaranteed safe discard for his last discard of the hand. And that's a move you don't see very often, is that the times that you can actually use it is pretty limited.
Yeah, but having all of these corner cases like tactics in your like in your head is definitely what makes you a step above the rest.
Your arsenal. Everybody tenpai. Wait a second. Oh, wait, Takizawa, did he? Yeah, yeah. So he puts out the continuance stick. For a second, I thought maybe he was going to pay something, but I was like, wait a second, he was tenpai. No, he was just putting out the extra 100-point stick for it to indicate the continuances. Even though they're on a Rex 3 table, there is a display on the table for the continuances. In pro matches, you pretty much always put out the 100-point stick anyway. You don't usually rely on the displays in the middle of the table.
Yeah, keep the etiquette tradition going. I like it. Oh, something I wanted to ask. Because you have played with some of these players and you have played against maybe some players multiple times. Do you pick up on play styles from them and adjust your play accordingly?
For me, it's hard to pick up on play styles while you're playing. You kind of look at the play styles more in situations like this, so you can watch their streams. Um, it kind of depends. I mean, sometimes you can get it just by age even. Younger players call a lot more than the older players.
They're impatient.
I think it's just like the kind of fashionable way to play right now is to call a lot more, um, and a lot more backdoor yaku. So the backdoor yaku would be like if you're waiting in the end for like a 9 dot and a red dragon, you can only win on the red dragon because that's the yaku. That's another poker term that I applied to mahjong. You have like a backdoor flush or backdoor straight where it hits on the river. Or it hits on
Right.
the you need the turn and the river card to make your hand. In this case as well, you have to get the right tile on the right side to win. So I call the backdoor. But a lot of younger players feel more comfortable relying on that than the older players. And then older players have seen that and they have adapted, but a lot of times their hands are going to be bigger and scarier and more silent.
Yeah, it is interesting that for a game that, for the most part, does not change, the meta behind it changes with the players that play it. Oh, is that Tempai? No,
Actually,
not
maybe
quite.
a
Ishan 10.
2-5, waiting for the 2-5 character. It's the dots. The dots were all jumbled up that I missed out on. Also went away for Takizawa. Yeah, so no pair in the hand, that's what it is. Oh, there it is. There's a
Oh,
pair 2-3-5 way in the dots for Misaki.
fantastic shape. Even though there were fours in there, potential for a con, I do agree that this is definitely the right play. As much as I love the content, I don't get upset at the other players when they don't do it for efficiency.
And Taira cheesed that 4 dot. Not sure if he's aware that that was the last opportunity to cheat the 4 dot. And good thing that he snatched that up.
Ooh, but we're gonna get a sumo, and then we're
Yeah,
gonna get another underdora, not a Patsu because of the chi that was called.
but still among on hand. Menpin Sumo Dora Dora. Oh wait, what? No.
No, there was
Menpin
only
Sumo
one
Dora,
Dora.
sorry.
Yeah,
Just the
Riichi
Ura.
Sumo
Okay,
Dora.
that was my bad. So 1300, 2600.
Even though it was not a Mongon hand, it was big enough that you put some distance yourself between the other two players. So even though it's not a big lead, any sort of Mongon is gonna cause you to lose your your second place rather. Just not being in that position of everyone's so close to me must feel a little relieving, especially if you get to go on your dealership now. This is a
Yeah,
chance for you
definitely.
to really make it up, and actually, potentially, you are now in striking distance of Taira.
Yeah, as dealer, she can do something with this dealership, then she definitely has an opportunity to catch up to Taira. Usually, as
No.
commentators, we enjoy rooting for the underdog. So right now, that's everyone except Taira.
Yeah, I don't want it to make it too easy for him. We got to get a little bit more excitement going, a little bit more drama.
Yajima has a pair of Dora in his hand. Definitely gonna try and want to use that in his quest to end Misaki's dealership. And Taira's
How's
just
the
gonna be thinking anything, just let me win and move the dealership.
Yeah, Tyra had the pair Dora in hand, but if they get rid of one of them, then they're set up for the Sanshoku shape, the triple suit run. So maybe that might be the way that they go. But it looks like Tyra might potentially go into 7 pairs. That was interesting.
And Misaki also paired up the Dora. Kind of a rough shape there as well, but she's dealer, so she can pawn that east. And she will do this is the backdoor call that I'm talking about. So she's calling without a guaranteed Yaku. She's gonna have to come up with the
Ooh,
Yaku
yeah.
later.
I don't have that bravery in me. That's one of those situations where doing that and making the call before I have the Yaku secured, it's something that you do a lot when you first start out, and you're told later on that is not good. You shouldn't do that, but then it comes back around to being good again. It's like the Jedi graph.
That's true, yeah. When it comes back around though, you have a lot more nuances that you didn't have in your knowledge base when you started playing. She also just paired up the green dragon, so now she has a double backdoor. That means she's guaranteed a Yaku. The only thing is
These
she has
draws
too
have
many
been
blocks.
nuts.
She could go for the flush, or she could keep the pair of Dora. They're both worth 2 Han at this point. But discarding 2 Dora is very risky, and that's why she will hang on to that and discard the 8 dots. Has a potential all triples hand as well in that hand right now.
Yeah, I was looking at that as an all triples, which uh if we were to go that route, you drop the 4 of dots, but doesn't. So it looks like because they have some Dora in hand, that's enough value to get themselves into first place if they win. So they're going to try to go for a hand that's a little more likely to hit.
Yeah, it's more efficient. There's also an 8 dot already out on the board. Um, and it's usually hard to find a hand where none of the other 3 players need an 8 dot in their hand. So it's definitely probably better as dealer to hedge that, keep that 3/6 dot usage open.
Ooh, should have known. Just done three 6 of bamboos almost back to back to back. Yeah, whenever you get rid of a tile and then immediately draw the next one you could have used. We just call that the should have known.
In Japanese, if you're at the table, a lot of times you say, "Ah, sensei, sensei." Yeah, I don't have like a. It kind of means like I don't have a sixth sense, or I don't have
You're
common
not
sense.
you're not
Like the
reading the wall
common
well.
sense, yeah.
Oh, and while we were talking about that, Yajima
Food
got into
sumo
Tenpai and just
ipeko
got a
dora
nice little
dora.
sumo there.
A nice big sumo. That's 8,000 points. There's a double
Looks like it was
sequence, a twin
was
sequence.
it a double sequence?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 in the bamboos, and
Was it also
also
a
the
Pinfu shape?
no. Yeah, it was Pinfu shape and 2 Dora.
Yeah, so that okay. So yeah, 5 Han. Maybe could have gotten a little bit more if they slammed the Riichi to get for a Hanuman, but at this point, like 8,000 is enough. You're just trying to give yourself way more distance from second place. And it gets you into your dealership. So definitely good play all around.
Yeah, another thing is he saw that Misaki had pawned that 7 dot. Remember we said it was a backdoor pawn. He's gonna read that as her likely having 2 Dora. Not guaranteed, but likely that she has 2 Dora in there, especially since he couldn't see any. Or did he see 1? Did he have 1? Oh, he had 2. He had 2, so, but usually when you make that call that Misaki made, you have some Dora in your hand or some value in your hand somewhere. It's either a lot of value or just a fast hand. So either way, he was trying to, you know, hoping that either she would deal into him while she was pushing her hand forward, or he could draw it while she was paying attention to her own hand.
Yeah, at this level, you expect that the opposing players will make all their calls on purpose. And so if they make these calls, you would hope so. That oh, why would you call that tile? You may have a lot of value in your hand. Let me make sure I respect it because I don't see the doors. You are correct.
Yeah, he had two, but he couldn't see the other two. And yeah, as dealer, it's usually one or the other. You either have two Dora in your hand and you make that call, or you're just really fast and you're trying to keep your dealership.
Misaki was going to take another moment to think about the route that they want to take. They have 6 blocks, it seems. So deciding which one they're going to get rid of. The 8-9 of characters, that edge weight, going to be the cut. And just going to continue to cut that shape. Once you've cut it, one block of it or one tile of it, you might as well just get rid of the other one. It looks like
Yeah,
Yajima was one tile away.
yeah, he's trying to figure out. I think he's kind of headless. He has a pair of 7 dots, but they're right in the middle of a sequence. Also, potential for 6, 7, 8 Sanshoku, but he's gonna have to try and figure out where to use the pair. You see, he had it set up the 6 and the 8 separate from the 7 in case he was able to call the 7 dot.
Is that something that the players will do? They will understand which tiles they want to call, then rearrange their hand so that when they do call, they don't reveal as much information about their hand.
I mean, when possible, especially in a shape like that, if you have 6, 7, 7, 8, if it's in order and you chi a 7, then it's gonna be pretty obvious that you have a pair of 7 dots. Or that you're trying to make it look like you have a pair of 7 dots. Because you have to take one from each side, and those two tiles remaining in the middle are pretty conspicuous at that point.
Yeah, it just goes to show just like how much information can be gathered in these games and like what you need to do to obscure as much as you can.
That's one away for all
One away
pairs.
from a 7 pairs potentially, or no, it's actually could be a it could be a Rion Peiko.
Good. He needs to stick something to the 6, 6, 7, 7 in the characters. The thing is, Taira was 1 hand ago. Taira was really comfortably in first place, but now Yajima has become a threat to him. So he would like to just kind of fold out and let the hand advance, but he doesn't really have that luxury anymore with Yajima. And Yajima would win on the 8, on the 3. Sorry, he did end up tenpai waiting for the 3 character.
Yeah, but looks like it was just a simple Tanyao hand.
Yeah, we're talking about where he was going to make his pair. It looks like he went headless and then ended up. We saw him go headless, discarding the 7 dot, but the one of the characters paired up in the top. We would have said, unfortunately, that was the open-ended side. And now he's stuck waiting for a middle 3 weight, but he was able to win it, so we didn't have a chance to say, ah.
Yeah, and based on the type of league that this is, where placements really do matter, Taira just feels so far away that Yajima just decided to try to their best to secure a second place as best they can.
Well, the thing is, Yajima still has a dealership, so moving the dealership away from Taira removes Taira's chance to build up another lead as his dealer. Although Taira now has a pair of Yakuhai, the north, and also a pair of Dora, the east. So maybe he will make a bigger lead here in all last. Misaki, a potential outside hand. And this is where
Hmm.
Takizawa is going to be playing for last avoidance. Misaki is really within range of trying to aim for second place. Takizawa is just out of range for Mangan Sumo to second place. So he'll be looking for third place probably.
Yeah, but Takizawa's hand doesn't really look good to do anything at this point. We'll see it once it comes back around, but yeah, they had too many honors on their start and their shapes just do not look that good. It's going to be hard for them to get anything done. Pick up a 7 of characters from Misaki. We
She
do have
just
the potential
can't.
to go 7 pairs once again. Like I said, when we're in 7 guys, it's the only thing on the menu.
Especially for Misaki this game, it feels like. And there it is, Tenpai waiting for all pairs. East, of course, is Adora, and she will not reach. If she tsumos, she gets second place. If she wins off of Takizawa or Taira, she does not get second place, but she still gets a third place without any real negative points.
Yeah, interesting. I wonder if she's trying to set herself up to when she does a Riichi, that her discards will mislead the other players into dealing into her. And
Maybe,
she's
but
waiting for that moment.
with that Dora, it's gonna be hard to mislead too much.
That is true. She would be waiting on just the Dora.
And that's a reach for Taira. That means that Misaki can win off anybody to move up into second place.
Yeah, but it looks like there was only one East available. She could swap up the weight, but dealing into a Dora after a Riichi, oh, that's not something you want to be doing. So
And
now
he
it's the
does have a
decider. Do you
pair
try to
Dora.
push for a second or try to maintain your third place? Really take a moment to consider her options.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think discarding Dora is an option at all right now. So it's just
So
if,
it's
if she can push the Sanzo or not. And that's where you really got to know the player, because of tips and tricks, one of our fellow commentators is on the table, you never, ever, ever push the Sanzo, the three bamboo.
we have plenty of players in the DC club who are also very, very favored for the three of bamboo, the Sanso.
I squished the Sanzo. And she'll reach.
Yep, just gonna try to fight back. Hopefully, the other Riichi player, Taira, is not waiting on Dora and it'll force a discard.
This is a nice draw for Takizawa. Actually gives him a chance to get the points he needs for last avoidance. And with 2 reach sticks on the table, that 4,400 point difference is only 2,400 points now.
Yeah, this is such an interesting Riichi battle because Taira, like both of these players, are waiting for one tile essentially. Taira only has like two options, one north and one east, and Misaki is only having one east available. It's just who draws it.
And Takizawa still went away, but trying to decide if he wants to push this to try and get into third place. If he wins 1,300 points off of Misaki, that puts him in third place. He's deciding how much risk he's willing to take. Of course, if he deals in, he's just still in last place, so I think he definitely wants to go for it. It's just which path he takes to get there.
Yeah, you got to fight. I wonder if there's also a consideration of maybe you just hope that Misaki deals in and then that causes her to drop down into fourth.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only other outcome that would keep him out of last place.
Yeah, it's just a matter of
That's
like,
Tenpai. What's he gonna do? Reach!
all right,
Beats Tanya
there we
out.
go.
Mifu. Waiting for the 4-7 character. That's 3 reach battle. And
We
this
see
is
two
war.
characters in Misaki's hand, another one in Yajima thinking about that 5 of dots if he wants to complete this hand. Won't have a Yaku if called, so really considering if he can just get, yep, he's going to call it. It probably in an effort to either maybe get a, are you going to drop the south, going to try to go for an all simples hand to keep it going, or to at least make sure that they are in tempi when it goes, if it goes to exhaust, so they can keep their dealerships and go again.
Yeah, he is still 1 away, but um, trying to keep that dealership. There's a bunch of risk you can take while trying to keep the dealership, and he's not really at risk at dropping into last place. Well, actually, no. If Takizawa wins a Mangon off of him, he drops into last place, and that would be very sad for Yajima. But Takizawa will draw it. Min dam being sumo. 1300, 2600, I believe. That means that Takizawa has successfully avoided last place. Misaki did everything she could, but she will drop into last place. A very small last place. But in these rules, well, actually in any rules, last place is last place. But
Yep, it's true. And with that,
yep.
we are going to be able to look at our standings after that game.
And I've added a column into the standings. You can see the difference, what each team got in the last game. So
Oh, that's
DD
definitely
Studio,
very helpful.
Yeah, in second place. Now AMC Dental is tied with DD Studio. Since AMC Dental in the last game with Taira got first place and Yajima got second place. Now they're tied for first. DD Studio, of course, has extra points, but that was a big first place for AMC Dental, and so they crawl a little bit closer toward DD Studio in the earned points column. All Serious was able to earn a, not at this table, but you can see All Serious was able to earn a point, but they're still down in last. They're going to have to get some first places to get back in the running here.
Yeah. What I'm noticing with that is before going into this game, most of the teams were within 1 or 2 points of each other. But after this round, you'll notice the difference between 11 and 12 is 3 whole points. So even if any of these teams get a first place, that's not enough to get them out of that table A bracket. So starting to see some separation within these teams for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I'm wondering, I'm going to have to look as we get towards the end of the month, and the last session is going to be in August. Then we'll go into more details about what it means to be in the round 1, table A, table B, table C, what the differences are between those. Because obviously table C is going to have an advantage over table A, and second and third place are just going to skip the round 1 playoffs altogether and jump right into the round 2 playoffs. So I imagine it's going to be something like more teams from table C advance than table B or table A to round 2.
Yeah, I was curious about exactly how the playoff structure works, because this is I've never seen a structure like this in Mahjong.
Yeah, I mean, it's to make more excitement, more streams, more opportunities for us to add English commentary, so we are very grateful for it. The other interesting thing about this chart is you see Aokei actually has a negative earned points. That means their first places were very small, and their non-first places were more negative overall. So they have a minus 1.1. That means if they were in the standings, they'd be way down in like 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, like 11th place. But since they have the table points, they're way up in 5th place. Which, that's just such a fun and interesting dynamic there.
I do really like that, honestly, because sometimes you just have a bad game and you just go super big negative. And now with this kind of structure where the placement matters, that really bad 4th place isn't going to basically nullify like a bunch of the other games that you played as badly.
Yeah, if you're
And
gonna get
especially
last
in like
place,
a team
just
setting as well.
go all the way in last place, and then just make sure that those games are few and far between. All right, then I think we're ready to bring in our trade-off. I'm going to call it a night, a morning. I'm actually gonna go get ready to take miniature humans to things like soccer and gymnastics and all that. And I'm gonna leave it to Harrison and Kyle to take you guys into the last game of the day. And we will be back tomorrow. I will be back tomorrow to talk more mahjong. I just wanted to say also, I was actually a guest on a podcast called the Got Faded Japan podcast. Really long time running podcast, and they let me come on and talk about mahjong. And that's like all I can talk about, so it was fun. So if
That's awesome.
Yeah, if you listen to podcasts, you have a podcast app, go ahead and search for Got Faded Japan. And you can listen to me just babble on about mahjong and myself. Just like always.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Jenn, for your very insightful commentary and also all the work that you helped do right before we went live. Appreciate all of that for sure.
Of course, the backbone.
And we will
that
catch you
is
next
Jenn.
time.
Yep. We'll make sure to tune in tomorrow as well. Very excited to hear more of your commentary, as always.
And bringing ourselves up, replacing Jenn, we have Harrison.
Yep, here it is.
Also known as suizo, mahjong commentator and president of the DC Riichi Mahjong Club. He and I spent a lot of time together working on mahjong for America, and happy to have you on.
Oh, it's gonna be great. Let me tell you, they're not ready for the old DC cast. It's been a long time coming, long time in the works, but here we are. The hardest part is going to be remembering all the things that we know and understand from our club, and not necessarily the viewers at home. Going all those little like niche situations that come up week by week for our local meetups and everything. But it's sure to be exciting. I think it's the first time we've done commentary together officially too, right?
I think it has, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
We've been scheduled on the same day, but never at the same time.
Yeah, and we've had more like casual things where we'll both kind of talk about games, but it's the first official commentary block of something we're both doing. And with that, I think it's, about time to introduce that second game, last game of today's players. Let's just jump right into it. Let's go ahead and see what we have to look forward to. Starting off in the pilot seat, we have Toru Yajima from Team DD Studio. Nihon Pro Mahjong. Yes, that is the organization name. I was like, wait a second, is there an association after that? No. And then in the second seats, bear with me on the names. I believe, is that Kokushin? You know what? Why don't you introduce her, Kyle, and I'll get the team names. All
right, we have Maiko Kawahara of JPML going to be representing their team once we get the name of that going. Our Japanese is a little rusty, and I'm on the moment right now, so I'm flubbing with it. They'll be playing against Haruobu Fujisawa, also of JPML. And then to wrap up our final seat, we have Kozue Miyauchi. Miyauchi? Yeah, there we go. Kozue Miyauchi from JPML. Going to be representing Orfeu. We can read English. We can do a little bit of English reading between us.
Just a bit. So, update. Still working on Maiko's team. Maybe it'll be easier once the video starts. But Haruobu Fujisawa is representing Team Dohaji. We've seen them before. They're kind of towards the bottom of the standings. We'll go ahead and bring those back up from game one. But Team Dohaji a little bit further down. They're going to want to be playing some catch up. As we know, DD Studio is going to be very high up in the rankings. They're the first one, not super far ahead. but doing very well so far. Orfeu is sort of middle of the pack. They are working on just, trying to keep up the pace, maybe make a bit more catch up than normal. And then for Maiko Kawahara, I think it's Real Partner, I believe is her team. Might be totally wrong. We'll work on that. We'll make sure to consult. Ooh, little tidbit from our backbone Jenn 2. Fujisawa is the former director of EX Fooding Kazun, which I believe is a very popular team in one of the leagues. I forget which one. Need to definitely study up on our Japanese orgs, it seems.
Oh, I have no familiarity with the Japanese mahjong scene, and I'll be the first to admit it. I just played the game, discovered it through my own, and just went from there.
Yes, and Maiko is going to be from Team 4 Seasons, so they're right below Orfeu. So again, you have two teams who are at the bottom of our playoffs round 1 table B bracket. DD Studio, who's all the way up, and Dohaji, who definitely has a bit more room. They want to kind of increase the pace. They're still within 10, so it's not too bad, but they definitely want to make up some of that lost ground in the standings.
Yeah, even though DD Studio is in first place, the point spread is only a first place away. So if DD Studio gets fourth and either of the other teams gets a first place, then they're going to either pass them or be right on their doorstep.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing about this. Someone's got to get 0 points and someone's got to get 3. So if it falls the right way, kind of like Uma's, you could see a big shakeup, especially in those higher standings. But that's yet to be seen. I think it's time, Kyle. I think we got to get into the game. Long time coming.
All right, let's do this.
So all
right, looks like everyone is going to be cleaning out the spot. Cleanliness is definitely very important.
Yeah, remember to do that at your local games too. Don't want to have grubby paws, fingerprints leaving, any of that. Want to try to make sure to keep all the equipment clean. Follow the professionals in that sense. Reminder that we have Toru Yajima from DD Studio as our first dealer. And I think it's going to be a very tone-setting first hand. If DD Studio, as first place overall currently, can assert themselves very quickly, get ahead, get a jump start, and have some points to play with and be defensive with, I think it is going to be rough for the other teams to pass them.
Definitely. And we did see Yajima do some very good moves in the last game to secure their placement going into that last game. So definitely got some skill on the table here.
I mean, again, none of these players are bad by any stretch of the imagination. And none of these players are even just good. They're all amazing, great players. And when forces like that collide, you're going to see a ton of Riichi Mahjong sparks fly. And it is already such an exciting opening hand. Yajima has a ton of shape, and even with that 4-6 bamboo cut, I think is going to go towards a Honitsu and the Manzu. Could be an absolute killer hand in the Dora suit.
Yeah, not even going to take some time to play around with other options. They are just going to force this flush in. It makes sense because that triple of South is not their seat. So they can't really use it for anything. So if they really want to get value out of it, they have to go for a flush here.
Some players will opt to, especially in the dealer seat, just take max efficiency. So for instance, some would keep those 4s and 6s, drop some of those single honors, and still try to play an efficient hand in hopes to reach his dealer. But it seems like Yajima is going to be playing an aggressive game right off the bat, trying again to secure that initial jump to first to set the tone.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that decision is starting to backfire. As soon as they dropped those bamboo shapes, went runner, runner, more bamboos. That could have been used for really good shapes.
Yeah, now
Sometimes you just
Yajima's
roll those dice and it don't work out.
that's how Honitsu's go. I mean, you need to draw all one suit, and there's two others to work with. And it even looks like Yajima is going to back out a little bit, trying to secure those Pinzu, make some more blocks. And we can see, looking at the rest of the table, everybody else's hands are speeding up. Fujisawa's hand there has the Haku pair. It's looking very close. We have two Dora from Miyauchi here. Uh, Absolutely locked and loaded to have a very powerful hand. Oh, geez.
I mean, as
Now
much
the
as I would
first comment
love
for
for him to
Yajima.
do it, there's no
Yeah.
way.
Well, there are some interesting options. You could have dropped 7-pin or 4-pin and kind of played totally towards the Honitsu and then dropped the South later. But Yajima, again, just wants to keep the full efficiency, keep those floaters now, switch up the strategy mid round to try and reclaim this hand. And that 6-pin's going to help with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, going for a con there feels a little bit too cowabunga, especially only on an East game or on the very first hand of the East round. And it
Yes.
looks like Fujisawa is actually going to try to transition to a half flush themselves. They really do want to try to triple up that white dragon if it comes out. 7 of characters gonna be picked up from Yajima. It's not really useful with their shape yet, but maybe it gives them the opportunity to go back into that half flush.
And I mean, that's one of those things where even just threatening on the board, I mean, these are very solid players. They're going to be watching Tadashis and Sumogiris. So they see that tile drop from him, that Tadashi, and they might think, oh, you know, Yajima might be close. Yajima might have gotten Tenpai off that and been trying to sneak a very expensive win in a sort of Manzu-esque shape or a Manzu hand.
It is very interesting that Yajima did not call the white dragon immediately. It looks like their hand really wants to be a flush
Mhm.
and didn't try to go for that white dragon.
There is still one left, so there's some time to get it themselves. And again, you call that White Dragon open. Your hand's kind of locked to 3 Han. It's really hard to cross that Mangan threshold. If you get, say, Itsu with it, you have a chance. But that's pretty much your only option. And especially with, I believe that was Fujisawa's hand. Now I think has 5 pairs as well. So a Chitoi
Yeah, I was
Honitsu
about to
is
say
very
when we
strong.
get to it, this looks like a potential 7 pairs as well.
Yeah, very, very flexible, and either route is going to be very expensive for somebody to deal into. We are going to get Tenpai from Yajima, is going to reach on it. We are on the 8-pin Kanchan. 8-pin is the only winner tile, and let me tell you, it is looking rough, Kyle. That is 3 there as, oh my goodness, what a smoker. We're going to Anko up that white dragon. And all of
All
a
right,
sudden, we
so he
got a
didn't
hand.
call the white dragon because he knew he was going to draw it. When you know, you know.
Yeah, but the problem is we're running out of time now. I mean, we're Ishanten still, but there's also dealer reach. It's so, so scary.
Yeah, we all know that dealer Riichi is very, very bad and only one tile available in the wall for him to pick it up.
Oh,
But
but we're playing
that's not going to
aggressive.
deter Fujisawa. He's going to push out for this half flush, calling the 2 of dots.
And that makes us on 4-pin, 8-pin, Tenpai, 8-pin. I forget, is multiple Ron on in this rule set? I think it
No,
is.
it
No,
is
it's
head
not.
bump.
It is head bump. So yes. So depending on who drops it, Yajima might just kind of get canceled out with this win. Yajima's hand, not super expensive, but dealer reach is dealer reach. We also have 4-mon, 7-mon Tenpai for, I believe that was Kawahara. Yes, everybody 10.
Yep.
So round scratch. Yajima down a stick.
Well played. Well played, everyone. Oh,
Uh, is there head bump on Ryukoku? is that in roll set?
I don't know. I actually
I
just don't know what happened
There
there.
was at
Everyone
least
revealed their
one other
hand.
player in Tenpai. I thought it was 2. I mean, everybody was Tenpai. Everyone put their hands down. Is Does it get head bumps with multiple people, or like only when it's all 4? Okay, we gotta check with New York on that one. We gotta check with our rules pro
Yeah,
players.
we gotta check that. But it looks like Yajima. Oh, or they messed it up and we were right, and they're gonna get that fixed.
Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, I
We
was like,
got debated.
yeah,
We
so
actually got debated.
I mean, I knew this was running. You see the UMA, you're like, there's some weird rules. Maybe it's a local psycho event, but I was like, man, I have never seen that before. And only 4 people causing like a head bump for Ryukoku. That seems so odd. But yes, okay. Looks like it was a visual glitch. This looks more normal. 1300 on the
There we go.
board. Miyauchi is going to call the Yakuhai North to secure Yaku, open up, try to get something very quick, secure some more points and some value behind it. Now with 2 pawn calls, call the south, you could be looking at a toy hand. You have that Dora white dragon, could potentially pick up some more value with that. It is looking like Miyauchi's hand to win.
Oh yeah, they definitely got 2 calls in quick, but they're really gonna need. They don't have anything else really. They have to get some more tiles going. They are 1 tile away, but if you want to get the easy tempi, you'll have to get rid of Dora. We'll see if that's the choice that they make.
I mean, right now, Miyauchi has all the tempo in the world. Nobody else has shown any aggression, really. So, especially with Tempai found quick, the Dora should be expected to pass. Now, when somebody pawns it, or if it's pawned, I guess I should say, then Miyauchi might have something else to think about. But for right now, nobody's got it paired up. It looks like that might just be the signal that everybody wants to kill off the Dora if Miyauchi finds it coming out of their hand.
Yeah, Kawahara, a few draws ago, they got rid of the 3 of bamboo, which was the less efficient shape, but it was completely safe to Fujisawa, or no, to Miyauchi,
Miyauchi.
who had just called. Yeah, Miyauchi. Oh, and here we go. We're gonna keep going fast. All right, are we gonna get the Dora drop to
Yeah.
get Tempai? We are. Just gonna wait on the 2 of dots. It's a bit of a cheap hand, but you're gonna get a little bit of extra humba. You're gonna get that middle stick, and just try to get a little bit more of a lead.
Yep, and Yajima, sigh of relief, sees that Dora comes out, draws it, and says, well, if it just came out, I'll drop the one I just drew too. Not going to fit in my hands. And then Fujisawa follows suit. And now it's a pretty, what I would call a low value or dead board, especially with Dora Yakuhai like that. Pretty much no one's going to be able to use it. Now, definitely no one's going to be able to use it. So when
Yeah,
one comes out,
Miyauchi,
defuse the bomb.
unfortunately, waiting for this 2 of dots. 3 of them that we see in the other player's hand, so they only have 1 chance to get this tile. There is I was about to say maybe there's a chance that they pick up the a third south that they could switch up their weight a bit, and they could still do it with the 1 or the 3, but then they might be waiting on the south, which was in Yajima's hand.
Hmm.
So not a lot of options for Miyauchi to tap this one in.
I mean, 2 pin, it's paired threes. Um, it's paired threes for our dealer, Yajima. So uh now with one on the board too, those 2 pins, not too good. It's gonna be hard to use. We are gonna see
Ooh,
Fujisawa
Fujisawa is
reach
gonna
with
pick up
one.
this 7 of bamboo and slam the Riichi. I missed what their weight was, but we'll see when it comes back around. But they're in a way better spot than Miyauchi. Miyauchi gonna have to give this one up and just play defense with just 4 tiles.
I mean, it's a bit of a Mawashi. It looks like 1 pin was Genbutsu. You may be able to push 3 pin if you draw into something good. And then you draw both sides of a very scary Suji with the 3-6 and go, you know what? I don't need these cells. I'm
Nope.
going to try
6
and
and
play
9 was
defense.
the weight. Ooh, 7 of dots. That might entice Kawahara to push on this Riichi.
Yeah, we'll have to
Okay.
see. I mean, there's also Yajima is definitely going to want to continue the dealership, weighing the odds of this 8 of characters. Technically, you could throw south south, but the speed of your hand decreases and you got to do some drawing back. It's getting real late in the round. Yajima decides scared money don't make money, tries to get some points, but the problem is Miyauchi, or excuse me, Fujisawa hits the sumo for reach sumo Tanyao. It's going to be, I believe, 1100, 2100. Yep. Able to take that stick on the board too. And that is going to be Fujisawa's lead as we head into East 2.
Yeah, nice little win there, but not enough of a lead to be comfortable about it. Still plenty of game to be played. Still plenty of hands that could overtake Fujisawa's lead. So we'll see how it plays out in this East 2, the third hand of this game. Kawahara looks like, okay, 3 pairs. Ooh, has a lot of shapes in the middle that she can go for.
Yeah, Kawahara is going to be looking at probably trying to play this hand as quick as possible, but some pairs could cause a later toy if the draws hit right. And if you get a floating one pin like that you have to play. Problem is Fujisawa's hand is lightning. Great shapes, great middle tiles. Even Miyauchi has a very fast hand, so speed is not in Kawahara's favor to win.
Although that 3 of characters is going to be helpful
Mhm.
with that 4 run. Give them a little bit more acceptance there.
We do have an Ishanten
Yeah.
already from, I believe, Miyauchi. Looking to end on a 7-pin Kanchan. Wait, not quite there. And oh my goodness, Kawahara's draws have been insane. Oh my. Kawahara just
Oh,
cannot
yeah.
miss. Big upgrade there, too, for Miyauchi. Now able to have a good end weight with any Tenpai drawn.
Ooh, Yajima completes that 1-2-3 of bamboo run.
Yep, hits the fill-in.
And it feels good from Yajima because Kawahara pushed out the 1 of dots, which, so if we get some more speed from Kawahara, she slams a Riichi. Yajima can still push that 1 of dots and to their Tenpai and feel a lot safer about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Yajima really the slowest
Let's
one at the
go.
board, and
Just
yep,
draw the tile that you need. Slam the Riichi, going to be waiting on the 5 and 8 of dots.
yep, not a lot of value, but the foo is there. Unless I misread the hand, should be 40 food no matter what. Sumo won't upgrade, or Sumo will still be the 40 foo. And I guess 50 foo on Ron, so get a half on with that. Just reaching Nomi for now. Again, with 3 tiles in your hand that are the same though, Bomb's always on the table.
Urabon's potential to get a little bit of content if you draw the right tile. But
Oh
even
boy.
without the value, a first row Riichi as dealer puts so much pressure on the rest of the table.
Yeah. It definitely
See,
makes other people think twice about pushing their hands, even in the Ishanten shapes. We are going to see Miyauchi maintain Ishanten, and Yajima going to do much of the same, play those sort of more safe tiles to the Riichi, but fish around Ishanten. Another
okay,
upgrade
one
for
of
Fujisawa. Shapes there still.
yeah, Miyauchi draws this one of characters, doesn't like the feeling behind it, so gonna give up that 7 and most likely 8 of bamboo block just to make sure that they don't deal in.
Yeah, Miyauchi looks like she might be out now. That's one of those drops where if you're going to make it, it's going to struggle to rebuild your hand. Although if you draw a 3-mon and then a 2-mon, you're right there. Only 1 tile to push the Tenpai.
Yeah, but the tile you have to push is a one of characters, which a lot of both of these players, both Fujisawa and Miyauchi, are kind of scary about.
But
Fujisawa is going to
Fujisawa.
clear the way.
Uh,
There we go. Now Miyauchi is like better you than me for checking
mhm.
that tile.
Oh, and we have another.
Oh,
So
two
we have
dots.
2 Tenpais. We have a 5, 6, 8-mon for Yajima going to counter Riichi. And we still have an 8-pin Dama from Fujisawa. The weight is not great. This 2-5, much, much better. But the 8-pin's scary. If we're going to do it, we're going to reach. But the 8-pin's going to deal into dealer. No Ura on the flip. So just Riichi with the 50 Fu. That's going to be 2Han 25 dealer. I believe 36, maybe 24. Not even that. Ends up being pretty cheap. Definitely good for Kawahara though. One more hand win and we'll guaranteed pass Fujisawa. Still
Yeah, still
very
gonna put them close up into second place, very
yep.
close to first. Get another dealer repeat going. And you're going to start off with a white dragon pair. No Dora to pair with it.
Ooh, is gonna play the one of characters or the one of bamboo first, though. That's definitely the more aggressive routes. A lot of, or I think max efficiency would be playing an off wind, but when our shape is not that good and Honitsu is high in value, Kawahara says might as well do a little bit of fishing for it.
It works out a little bit. They pick up a 4 of bamboo, which meant that one would have come out probably the next turn if they hadn't discarded it anyway. So it works
Mhm.
out.
Yeah, still not committed towards Honitsu or a normal shape, but has both on the table. Although the problem is, oh
Oh,
my goodness,
that's
immediate
crazy.
Tempai. What an interesting situation for Yajima too. Dora pair,
Yeah, that's a bit of a
bad
scratcher.
weight. You were right close to 789 Sanshoku, so you could potentially drop 6 pin and move back a Shanten, and then you have like 9 pin draws. You have some zany stuff. The 7 999 too. If you draw 8 mon or 7 mon, you get a double pair weight on the Dora East as well as that 7 or the 8. Oh, and we're gonna take
Ooh.
Tempai. Okay. Not committed yet. We're gonna see where the draws go. Maybe try to fish for a better way. It is no Yaku, so if that 7 pin comes out, will not win, but can still draw itself or draw it for the self.
I definitely like that approach. You don't need to rush out this hand. As you mentioned, there are so many ways for this
Mhm.
hand to upgrade and try to get for better weights.
The
So
thing is with
maybe we'll wait until the end of the first row to make a real play.
I would have thought that Yajima going this route would have cut like the 6 pin or done it, but hey, even though we did different math, ended at the same place. Now we have the double pairway, and Yajima is going to slam that Riichi on 8 pin east. The only thing to Yajima's dismay is that is a wacky pond. That is a weird one. Players are going to look at that pawn and go, "What is Yajima on? Something is not right." I'm doing the math, coming up with weird answers.
Yeah. We see with I was about to say Kawahara has two of the 8 dots there. So
Mhm.
Yajima can't win with those, and ain't no way anyone's going to drop an East Dora. So he just has to get that East to win the hand.
Oh, and the
And
Epot
this
Sumo on the
guy,
Dora. Reach Epot Sumo, Tone Dora 3. If the math's right. With the Ura, is that Paimon? Reach Epot Sumo, Tone Dora 3. Yeah, with the Ura Dora, that's going to be Baimon. What a massive hand. Oh my goodness. 4181.
I can see why they're in first place. Holy crap. Damn, they're just that good.
If DD
That's
Studios
crazy.
getting that, I mean, Yajima was a little bit behind losing a dealership and being down, and now all of a sudden said, "Don't care. Buy Monsumo. Good luck, y'all. Enjoy playing for 2 points. Three's mine."
I'm still taking it back. That's crazy.
Hey, you just
And
hit
the
the.
exact wait just enough long enough to get the Apatsu as well.
Oh,
Oh, Judge.
okay. Some weird situation.
All right, looks like that there was a mistake in how they were drawing. We're gonna get the judge over.
Oh, so you know what I believe? I think the tile was slipping, perhaps. So I think Fujisawa was trying to like move it or grabbed it by accident. And there was some confusion. And because it was like a wrong tile touch, they were going, do we reshuffle the hand? Do we do it? And it looks like Judge was like, nope, should be
Nope, they're
good.
just gonna let it rock.
Oh boy, and what a hand. Yajima's doing weird stuff already too. Sacrificing some efficiency to play what looks like more of a Chitoi alternate routes. Fujisawa's got a bit of a normal one. And we have Ishanten from Miyauchi. Wow, guns blazing. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna go really fast with this hand. One of character is not gonna do much for Kawahara. Gonna have to
Mhm.
throw it back. 5 dots doesn't really help the efficiency, but it's still better than the one of bamboo. Oh,
Ooh, that's an
interesting fill.
interesting. I mean, you could play Haku and debate, and nope. Najma's like, don't want it.
Hmm.
I'm in the lead. I'm either playing a high value weird hand or I'm just folding out, and I would rather keep tiles that let me do those things.
Didn't
Yeah,
Yeah, Kawahara did not take the green dragon call.
yeah.
It's always I always find it interesting,
So
whether the players decide to go for it or not.
I think with Kawahara's hand too, the debate is my hand worth that value of losing defense, opening up, and is my hand quick enough to do it? And I think for both of those answers, the answer is no. Kawahara's hand's not very quick. The value is not really there, and so she just decided, you know what? I don't want it. If I draw it myself, great. Otherwise, I'm totally fine not calling it.
Yeah, but who definitely had the value was Fujisawa. They picked up the Dora that fits slide in with all their
Yep.
bamboo shapes. So they're starting to pack up a really powerful hand.
Yeah, they got a bit of a cannon they're assembling right now. Still Shoten. Some of the end weights are not great. Like they're, I think the highest chance to draw into is a 4 of bamboo, 5 of bamboo double pair weight, which Dora and Dora indicator as your only winning tiles is not good, especially when you have 2 of each of those. But there are some
Yeah,
other
but the
draws,
fact that
interesting things.
they have a lot of value with their hand. They have a Yaku. We may see a situation for Fujisawa, though he is dealer. Ooh, I'm curious to see if Fujisawa hits Tenpai, is he gonna slam or is he gonna try to stay hidden?
Well, now
But who
with
is gonna slam is
Miyauchi.
Miyauchi.
Yep, doesn't care about waiting for the San Shoku, says my Riichi Pinfu with, I believe, one Dora is good enough. I'm totally
Was it
good with that
Painfu?
value.
No, I think no, they just had a only waiting on the 6 of bamboo. We'll see when it comes
Oh,
back
did they have a
around.
Kanchan? Oh, you're right. It was.
Yeah.
So just Riichi Dora on that 6-0 Kanchan. But again, I think players opt to play a little bit more defensive typically. So that is going first Riichi is scary in its own right. Definitely gives other players a second thought anytime they're dropping a tile.
That's what I love about watching these kind of games is the meta is just so different than what you might
Oh
experience on
my
like ladder or
goodness.
even at your local club.
Yajima calls for Tenpai on just the white dragon. One already on the board too. My goodness, Yajima's going and swinging. Last Haku is surely going to get dropped, I'd imagine. But the question is, where is it in the wall and how many tiles can Yajima afford to push? This two-so
Yeah,
turning
this is
heads.
what Jen was talking about in the last game, where the meta has shifted in the Japanese pro scene, where players will try to call and just wait, go for the backdoor Yaku, where
Hmm.
they will try to call and only wait on a Yaku that has to be exact. So they call before they have their Yaku secured,
Yep.
which is like normally a bad thing that you're told early on you shouldn't be doing, but then it comes back around to being good again. It's
I
crazy.
mean, as long as you can fold out and you make those decisions to go, okay, I'll try this, and when I know it's my time, I'm confident I can still fold out. There's no problem with it.
The ability
Oh,
to
this
fold
four
out is
pin's so
definitely
awkward.
ooh.
Okay, we'll push the 4. It works out. Still on that 3 pin. Oh, and the Dora came out if we would have played 2 pin. It looks so bad when you have 3 5s. Would have won on that door. It's huge. Yajima's pushed off completely too by this point, is unable to fight. We still have an Ishan 10 from Kawahara, but man, those tiles do not look good. Oh, but the 3 pin coming out is going
Ooh.
to be Iran. Going to be Tanyao Dora 2 for Fujisawa dealer. It's going to be 58 plus the stick in the middle. Or wait, is that more? 4, 2. Yeah, it should just be 58.
Yep, there we go. You got your numbers down, Pat. And looks like Fujisawa was just going to take the 3 Han value, not try to slam Riichi, just to make sure that they can more easily guarantee the win. And that is what I was expecting
Hmm.
from Fujisawa. But you never know. Sometimes these players really surprise me. I was just curious to see.
Yeah, especially with some of the weird situations that happen. Um, really nuanced things like how many of one specific tile is on the board or one specific discard that the players think hints at the other's weight can greatly affect their decisions because again they're just so good that all that nuance is not lost on them and they're able to get so much information from it.
Oh yeah, and just like all the little bits of information that you normally don't think about that you're giving away, these players are definitely picking up, are able to pick up on.
Right now, nobody's
Ooh.
hand is really jumping out too far. Everybody doing good on their shape for the most part. Looks like Yajima, I was gonna say is a little bit slower, but with that pickup, certainly is not. Same for Kawahara there as well. So yeah, I guess everybody's just beyond Shanten. Everyone's two away, trying to pick up their little things, get their little weights. We don't have an Ishanten from Yajima.
Kawahara picking up with that 5 dots as well, gonna progress them. Yeah, and now these hands are they're not quite progressing, but their shapes are getting a lot stronger.
Ugh, and now we have Yajima with a Tempai and a Dama. Oh my goodness. So
Yeah,
patient.
when
Gets
you're in
Tempai
this
on
first
9
place,
mon,
you
1
don't need to
pin.
slam.
Well, the other thing is 1 9 mon and 1 pin is out. So there's only 2 winning tiles, and neither really looks that great for you. And is gonna just back away completely with that 6-0 drop. Just so patient and so willing to wait for a better weight. And yeah, like you were saying, in first place, has the time, bought himself the time to be able to do things like this.
Yeah, has to be a little bit careful though. Fujisawa on this dealership is creeping up on their first place, and they definitely don't want to be you don't want to be the reason why you get dropped down. If Fujisawa hits a big sumo, that is how it is, but you got to make sure they got to
Mhm.
work for it.
And now everybody is hitting hand advancements. I believe that is it was Ishanten for Miyauchi, but decides to back up a little bit. Doesn't like how the end shape is looking. Decides to back up Ishanten to get a better end weight. And we have Tempai. That is going to be Kawahara on a Riichi Pinfu, I believe Dora as well.
Yeah, you're in last place. Your decisions are I just need as many points as I can, so we just got to send it.
I mean, still a dealership left, but Kawahara sees no reason to be scared here and says, I have all the initiative. Oh, and that third 6-mon is going to make things tricky. Tempai for our dealer Fujisawa and decides to Dama on the 3-mon. Ooh, getting a little tricky.
Yeah, I think the mindset behind it is you can still win, and you want to give yourself the option to fold out in case like it
Mhm.
gets a little bit scary.
I mean, there is also the second Dora draw as well. Fujisawa can work that in very well, but Inrichi does not have the ability to swap. So maybe seeing that or a dangerous 5-mon draw says, you know what, I'll Dama for now. Maybe if I get a better weight down the line, then we can throw a Riichi on it and chase.
Yeah, you get to do both by not slamming Riichi here, which is
Mhm.
fantastic. Let's see how many tiles are out there for Kawahara. We have the threes right there.
I
All the
believe
sixes are
sixes
accounted
are
for.
dead. Yep. 1-3. Oh, and the 4-mon comes out. A little bit more
Hmm.
info. And now we have to check this really bad 1-4 Suji. And yep, Fujisawa says, you know what? If I'm going to check this, I'm throwing a stick on the board. If Dora's not dealing in either, hand's probably cheaper. So I want to win on that 3-mon. Problem for Fujisawa is because of head bump, any 3-mon that is not drawn is just going to go to Kawahara.
Yajima is gonna call this two of
Interesting.
bamboo. It also breaks a Patsu.
It does break Ipatsu. I was wondering if Yajima wanted to move the Haite draw, the last tile draw, but Miyauchi is not in Tenpai or is not in Riichi, so she wouldn't benefit too much from it. And it gives it to himself, which I
Mayuchi did
guess maybe control over Hote isn't bad.
Yeah. Mayuchi did pick up that dangerous three of characters, recognizes is dangerous and
Yeah,
holds on to it.
gonna keep it for now.
Can still potentially get into Tempai, but I imagine they are gonna want to fold it out if it gets a little too dicey.
The other thing is any chi you take is going to move the Haite draw to a player in Riichi, which potentially could be dangerous, give them more value. So might even see that and say, you know what, this hand's not worth a Tenpai fight. I'll just take my Ryukoku payments. Yep, and Yajima is going to draw dead. Is unable to get into Tenpai, I believe now. And last draws
I
miss
do
for the
love
Riichi
when they
players.
I do love when they just like grab the tile and then like put it right in front of the camera.
That is
They do it
this
with
one.
such like effort.
Got to have a little bit of grandeur here and there.
Yeah, but that's gonna be the exhaustive draw. 2 players in Tenpai, so Fujisawa is gonna keep their dealership and just inch themselves that much closer to Yajima's lead. Yajima, you had a nice little break. Oh, there we go. Got to make the roll go. Yajima did have a little bit of a break, not having to worry, but Fujisawa definitely is catching up. So Yajima's gonna have to try to get something going to extend his lead.
I mean, we got one hand. The other thing to remember is there's now 2,600 as a tip in the middle of the board. Free points on top of whatever your hand value is. So any wind gets more expensive, especially in a no red 5 format. 2,600 is a pretty decent amount on top of a normal hand win as well. Problem is we have a green dragon pair from our dealer and a Dora that's pretty worked into the hands, and everybody else's hand, unless Kawahara's got something, which she kind of does, but needs the right draws, looks a lot slower than Fujisawa's.
Yeah, Fujisawa was in a situation where they could just complete the hand and make it cheap, or they could take a little bit more time and get a lot more value on it, depending on how they draw.
Yeah, there is the potential for them to go into like a little bit of a farther away Honitsu or try and pass the first green dragon and draw a second. Probably the latter might be the only decision now with that 1-2-3 completely worked in. I doubt we'll go Honitsu. But
Definitely agree with
still
that.
so quick now. It looks like Kawahara has caught up a little bit in efficiency, but still a bit behind. Fujisawa moves into Ishanten and may even get a Riichi waiting on the green dragon, which would be huge.
That would be huge. None of the green. I did think Miyauchi did have a green dragon. Okay, 5
Yes, Miyauchi has one green dragon.
bamboo is gonna help. Yeah, it's gonna
Oh,
help with that.
well, 5 bamboo, really interesting there. Because Fujisawa was Ishanten. He had a 2-4, or excuse me, a 4-6-8 Manzu shape, I believe. Unless I was misreading. A 2-4-6 bamboo shape or Manzu shape, and then decided to keep the 5, probably to guaranteed play the Dora and be able to draw a little bit better around it with some weird situations like Dora pair up and like that instead of playing max efficiency.
Yeah, that just goes to show that max efficiency is not the only thing that matters in these games. You got to figure out what kind of what the hand wants to be. How do you get more value out of it? And or if you put yourself in a situation where you need to discard a dangerous tile, you don't want to be putting yourself there.
Ishanten for Kawahara as well. Hand doesn't look too expensive, but should be an easy win. Hit the bamboo shape first. You can do a reach pinfu. We are going to see Green Dragon snap called. That is going to be Tenpai for our dealer on just 5 mon. Not the best weight, but a weight nonetheless.
Miyauchi was going to snap back with the 5 of bamboo pawn. They're still far away, but Miyauchi's starting hand was really bad. So this is the only way that they have a potential to complete the hand. Just try to call as quickly as they can, go for an all simples, and try to grab up these middle sticks.
Kawahara misses
7 characters,
Tenpai.
not going to be helpful, but
Scary tile too. Opstead do a bit of both. Says I think Forso will pass. And now we see a tank from Fujisawa. I was going to say the decision there is there a 3-5 mon out. There is only one left in the wall. Maybe debating on dropping the 4 mon and potentially the 6 mon later in efforts of getting Tenpai, but just decides to keep with the weight. Maintains Tempai, tries to be scary, but we'll pawn the
Oh,
3. We found a line. We're on 6-7 mon. All of a sudden, we are lethal. We could have a Hatsudora 2-hand from the dealer.
unfortunately, we
Ooh.
see all the 7 of characters, and the 6 of character Dora was just picked up by Yajima.
And Yajima playing a Chitoe
It looks like,
hands, not opting to
yeah, it looks
drop
like we got to
either.
get to Chitoi.
The 7-9. Have we found a route? Hold on. The question is, Kawahara, does she feel fine dropping 8 of bamboo and 6 of bamboo, or part of the Pinzu? Likes the 8 of bamboo. That's
Yeah,
7
gonna
mon
go for it.
coming out. Yep.
You're in last place. You got to make plays.
I mean, even just dancing around and not playing the 7 to drawing around the 9, all of a sudden a route for the hand exists.
Oh, unfortunate.
I mean, you could call it a backfire, but again, that 7 deals in, so maybe a blessing in disguise. Oh, and
Yeah,
now the 9
it's
mon.
curious to see if that like puts little bit of a mental strain on you. I mean, you'll feel it once you see the revealed tiles and see, oh, these 7s do deal in, so I made the right choice. But in this moment, you're like, oh, did I make the right choice?
Oh, when Tempai comes, we're gonna push the 6. Riichi for 8 mon. The problem is 8 mon's really bad. 3 are held by
Yep,
dealer
you see 3 of
Fujisawa.
them. 3 of them in Fujisawa. So it looks like there's only one available. But I've seen people win these like every day.
I mean, here's the fun thing. If Fujisawa draws the 4th, it's probably getting dropped too. Oh, and Sumo's on the Dora, though, doesn't need it. And that's actually going to be enough to upgrade the Fu, too. So that's going to be 77 split. So I believe that's 28 all going to dealer. An absolutely massive hand, especially with the extra reach stick from this round. And now Fujisawa has shot up in placement.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, that Yajima did have an early lead, but it wasn't a big one. Just one really sick dealer run can take it all away. And Fujisawa has done just that. And they get to keep going, try to make this lead super big as well. 5 of dots is going to be the Dora for this game, for this hand, rather.
Fujisawa
Looks like we have a
definitely
lot
has
of
some breathing
bam.
room. Oh my, okay. This is
Ooh.
an Ishanten hand. We're not gonna con the ones just yet, but I'd imagine with how that shaped up, Fujisawa is definitely actively thinking about how they're Ishanten with a con for a call as dealer in first place. Turn 2.
All right. All right, you've
Oh,
convinced me. I need to start. Oh my god, just
was
hit.
that okay? That it's still Ishanten, I believe. And I'm so curious to see if a con is going to come out. So strong for Fujisawa.
If you're these other players, you have to
And
be
Honitsu,
like
oh my
really
goodness.
scared. They dropped a turn 2 door indicator tile. They got to be cooking up something.
Well, I mean, it would suggest normally that it's a very quick hand from dealer, not probably not valuable because if you're dropping the door indicator, odds are you don't have Dora, which it's
Or you
true.
just have
Fujisawa
like
doesn't
3 of
have
them.
Dora, yeah, but problem is Fujisawa has a Honitsu, Ishanten, potential ability to con as well. Con maybe even a bit of a mind game because if you're gonna con your Honitsusu, what are the odds that the rest of your tiles are bamboo as well? Normally, you'd want to keep all the bamboo you could and play every single one, even a one, as a Honitsu. Oh, and we're Ishanten now as Kawahara. Everyone is just so quick. That surely that's Tenpai, right? Oh,
Not quite, 'cause they had to
it
fill out the
was
8. Ooh, we're
Tenpai,
going for
and we
full.
dropped the North for Shinitsu. Oh my goodness. Fujisawa is making a statement right now.
Yeah, if we're gonna win big. It might be
Or
also
was
because
Ishanten? Okay.
their team has 19 points. Their overall score is negative 71. This may be the opportunity to help bring their team back from the brink.
Yeah, I mean, tiebreakers might come into effect even towards the bottom. The spread is not super far, so being able to assure tiebreakers might be nice. We are going to see a call to Tenpai on the 8, so for Chinitsu. I'd imagine with North cut and that though, players have flashing warning lights in their heads saying Fujisawa is up to something, especially with a 1-2-3 being what was locked in.
I mean, this is still a great position for Fujisawa.
Yeah.
Even if everyone knows what you're up to, they're gonna they might run away. You get to exhaust, and you get to just go again as your dealer.
Yeah, you still get your repeat, and I mean, it's, "Hey, I'm Tenpai, you know what it is, but you also can't play anything that might deal in." So and we're gonna take the wider
Wow.
acceptance on the 5-8. I was gonna say there is some argument, I think, to try to build in an Itsu for the Hanemon. I believe it was 3rd 4 of Bamboo that would get that and still Tenpai on the 8, but Fujisawa wants to add in the singular 5 that's left, and I believe some weird, like, pawn or triplet call better end weights as well.
Ooh, interesting. Yajima has been dropping a bunch of like middle tiles and non-dot tiles. If they might try to go for a flush, but they have all of these honors that are hanging out, very scary to drop against Fujisawa. But
Yeah,
as you said before, the double north might give hints that it is the full flush.
and I mean, some just came
Oh
out,
my.
like well, the Haku did just come out, guaranteed safe. Kawahara said it's worth pushing. Maybe even Kawahara reads that it's Chinitsu and says, "You know what? These honors should be fine. I'm much more worried about the bamboo." So Yajima,
What's me?
not necessarily too scared just yet. We are going to see a call for Tenpai on Junshan Nomi. That's going to be Kawahara, Tenpai on the 3 mon, but we're going to draw the 5. What was
It was just the south.
it? Was the South. That's what it was
Like,
called.
yeah, they
Yes,
called the
not
south,
Nomi.
so that was their Yaku.
Yep. I was like, wait a second, I missed the South call. But yep,
Yeah,
just
I
quick
would.
points. Diffuse dealer bomb, worth its weight in gold for sure.
Man, just we got swindled just like these players. We were so locked in on Fujisawa and their monster hand. We didn't even notice that Miyauchi got into Tenpai for a quick one.
Yeah, Miyauchi recognizing, you know what? There is some big value at this board, and even if it's not me, any quick hand that I win that shuts down a ginormous monster cannon, especially from dealer to get even more ahead, is strictly plus EV. And with that quick call, able to end Fujisawa's run and hopefully go on one herself. And with this high pie, it is looking pretty good. No completed shapes yet, but let me tell you, a lot of tiles that do just that.
Oh, they can hit so quickly. Although it looks like Yajima is just gonna get their win C out the gate.
Very, int- I would say normally, okay, Yajima is going to take a very quick win.
Ooh,
Think about Yajima, you dog. Oh my goodness. You know what that 6 mon cut is? That
tell
is
us about it.
I think this hand might become Chitoi. I now have 4 pairs. So while I might play this Honitsu, I'm gonna keep this Sanzo just in case I get Chitoi Tenpai. Maybe throw some players off, wait on a bamboo. They might decide that I'm Honitsu even though I'm not, so that might come in handy later on. Draws to be seen, but definitely an interesting play. That is exactly what I'm expecting from Yajima, watching all the other hands he's played so far.
Yeah, definitely an interesting round. Ooh, Miyauchi taking some time to think about this one. They pick up a Dora
Ooh.
and not going to throw it away immediately. Going to try to incorporate it into their hand. They also, with the right draws, could potentially hit a 7 pairs themselves, and that's a way
Oh,
to incorporate that Dora. And another Dora has been picked up. A second Dora has been drawn.
and it's worked in. I mean, really interesting with
Wow.
yeah, wow. I was gonna say with Miyauchi, when you cut that 4 or 5, that seems like an indicator that okay, we're playing 7 pairs, we're not dropping this Dora. But if you're just gonna draw around it, then I guess you still have options. And as a Riichi hits the table on Riichi Dora 2 for the win for Kawahara. Now the players got a little bit of friction on the table and need to make their decisions. Miyauchi going to stick with that Chitoi.
Oh
Yajima pushed back a
no!
little bit.
Yajima picks up the
Hey,
last Dora.
still Chitoi. Chitoi's on the table, and with that south that comes out, and proven safe, may even get it. Oh my goodness, what is that? We're gonna drop Haku. Picked up a 3-mon. Now Dora is locked, loaded in our hand.
Well, I was sad about it because Kawahara's Riichi only waits on the one of characters, and now all three of them are seen in everyone else's hands. They can be used, or either Yajima, ain't no way you're dropping this Dora. Just ain't no way.
Yajima's never dropping it. That's picked up. We are Tempai for Fujisawa on just the 3-mon. Not going to commit to the Riichi. Recognizes that it looks very bad. Is going to Dama out. That 3-mon is going to be a Noyaku win. So
yeah, while Kawahara, while her hand is, as we see, is dead, the fact that you Riichi as the last place player, everyone's going to respect that. They don't want to be the one to deal in, so you probably will bully everyone out.
Yeah, the main one's Miyauchi.
So the danger of you dealing in is low.
Yeah, Miyauchi's got the most to lose here because a direct deal in from Miyauchi and a dealership loss could be catastrophic for her. But just because a sumo isn't in a much better position, Miyauchi might just full push.
Oh, Fujisawa got one step closer. It looked like they were Ishan 10. It's a question of, I don't think they're going to try to push a Riichi, whether they can get a hand that can win without it. It looks like the only way is to try to get a Pinfu.
Fujisawa ended up backing
Fujisawa.
up, dropped the 6-0. Yep, dropped the 6 of bamboo and ended up moving their hands back in Shoten. Said it is not worth pushing, not at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back away, play safe. This round is not my fight to take.
Yeah, it looks like that seems to be the route everyone's taking. Miyauchi picking up the 8 of bamboo, looking to see if they can maybe try to get into Tempai with like a 7 pairs, or try to hit something else.
I think that was almost a safety check, honestly, because looking at the pond for our Riichi player Kawahara, there's not a lot of safety that Miyauchi has. Now is Ishan 10 on 7 pairs, so now can think maybe about drawing a Tempai, but again, none of these tiles look too safe. 2-mon, found, checked, passes, maintains the Ishan 10. Yajima still Ishan 10 on that Chitoi as well.
Yeah, it's a matter of, I think at this point, will Yajima be able to get into Tempai? Oh, okay, drops the south. This is really cool, really nice, because now if it gets a little too dangerous, they can just continue to drop the rest of the south and just move along. But they're still one tile away from Tempai. They really did a good job to set themselves up. And there we go, one tile away from 7 pairs, and they might just hit. You never know.
I think that's actually the last one, Mon. I think every player has one. Funny enough.
It was on the 1, yes.
No, but every player had one Mon.
Yes, you are correct. I realized that after I said that, oh, maybe you could win this. I was like, oh no, it is the same situation that
everybody's locked.
Kawahara was in.
Yep, everybody recognizes that tile's bad. Everyone draws one, and it's, if I get Tempai on it, I get to collect Tempai payments. If not, I think I'm out. And that is going to pass dealership for Miyauchi. Fujisawa willing to give a little bit away too, as Yajima goes into the next round with 1,300 in the middle, piloting the dealer seat. And boy, with this high pie, looking like Yajima wants to retake the lead.
Yeah, Yajima setting themselves really good with that. Only 2 Shoten away, I believe.
I think it was 3
Shoten, really
but with very good shapes. Yes, still needs to collect one more shape.
Still,
but
3 Shoten away, but
very good floaters.
Exactly.
And the only other hand with speed, I believe, is Fujisawa right there. Fujisawa's hand also very speedy. Miyauchi does have the pair of green dragons, but as we've seen before, I don't think Miyauchi's going to be calling them. I think she's going to opt to play a bit more back, try and hit a Riichi for value, be okay dropping those greens later on and not just snap calling them. As I say that,
Yeah, you
reject
definitely
comes
want to try
out.
to get more value as we go into this second half of the game. You're so far away from second and first that the only way you have a shot of reaching them is by going for a big hand.
I mean, there is something to say about trying to get Yajima off dealership to try and limit their points and maybe use the rest of the game for catch up. Say, you know what, Yajima, that's where you're at. You might have to be aggressive later if I start catching up to you. No free dealer reaches to bully everybody off.
Oh, but then you have to
Oh,
consider, do you want
love
to be
that
the
drop from
one to jump
Fujisawa.
into the line of fire?
Love that drop
Do
from
you want to be the one to
Fujisawa.
jump into the line of fire of Yajima to
Mhm.
try to end their dealership or try to make someone else do it?
Yeah, and it definitely seems like Miyauchi is just going to opt for full safety. Fujisawa last turn had this really cool 5-so drop to lose a bit of efficiency over this Dora Tumon, but keeps the Dora Tumon and has a path for Itsu in it as well. So a much more valuable play. We are going to see a
Okay,
Chu
that was a
pair
9
picked
dot
up.
pickup.
Yes. Everyone's hands going fast, but no one's really breaking that Ishanten threshold. As I say that, we are going to get one with a decision from dealer Yajima. Opts to keep the Sanmenchan 3-sided weight, and I think that was the bamboo. And cut the, or no, keep the bamboo. Keep the Manzu Sanmenchan, cut the Ryanmen, the 2-sided weight of bamboo.
That's
In the
correct.
higher. There we
Yep.
go. And with this board, 1-so
There we go.
looks like
We
a
got
very
there.
good weight. Well, we'll get there. We got some time. Everybody's bricking from the wall. Although we are going to see Tumon come out. Looks like time is up for Fujisawa. Just decides, you know what? This door is never coming out of my hand and my hand's clunky. Or it's coming out right now. Passed. Worked out.
Yeah, kind of a scary drop. Just getting rid of that tile within the second row where they're going to get gobbled up by the other players. But as you
Oh.
said, it worked out.
I mean, Kawahara just checked it the turn before, too. So I think Kawahara's hand definitely wasn't making it there with the Tumon. And Fujisawa said that and said, you know what? If you're going to drop it, I'm down. I'm not paying ROM payments on this one.
Yeah, better you than me to check that. I wasn't gonna, but if you're gonna pave the way,
Wow, twist my arm. Get the Tumon out of my hand for free. And so coming out, Fujisawa opts for the safe tile over the little bit of efficiency from 2 more 8s. Fujisawa cannot find the Tenpai tile. Starting to get late. Oh, but likes the
okay.
6-0. Says that'll do it.
Yeah, six of bamboo gonna give them way more options to go into Tempai. But the trade-off is that they gave up their safety tile. So if someone else gets into Tempai and they want to potentially fight it, they might have to drop a dangerous tile.
I mean, from the board, it does look like everybody has a decent amount of safety available. Like nobody is playing really conservative, no middle tile hands. So I think Fujisawa can fold out at least 1 or 2 turns from everybody. But we are going to find Tenpai. We are on Pinfu 3-6 mon for a Dama. Fujisawa says in first. Why would I ever take the risk of reaching? I don't need that extra Han and the Ura flip. I'd rather just play safe. Ends my opponent's dealership, guaranteed.
Kawahara gonna go ahead and make this call. Still needs a Yaku, so they need the red dragon, or at the very least, try to get Tempai and not slowly bleed out further in their fourth place. Red dragon, there it is.
And it's going to get snap
And that's
called,
gonna get
surely.
picked up.
Now, what's the end weight? Are we going to go 4-7 pin? Yep, we like that more than the double pair weight.
Yep, 4 and 7 pin, 2 4s right there in Fujisawa's hand.
She's in a bit of an ugly
Hmm.
situation for Miyauchi. Decides to drop 6 pins, says it should be safe. Ends up passing.
Yeah, Miyauchi not liking their chances of winning this hand, so just gonna play for safety.
Oh, when the 6-mon
Oh, and
drop,
there's a
that is going to
sumo.
be Pinfu Sumo. which I believe is 700, 1300, even less, 500, 800. Very small. But for Fujisawa, again, knocking Yajima off dealership, limiting the available amount of points left, and advancing the game, and getting a little bit on top, worth its weight in gold. Fujisawa in a very good position to take first now.
Definitely. And they just got to wait out for their dealership to try to get an even bigger lead. As you said, their biggest threat, Yajima, has lost their dealership. They just need to just glide this one in, not do anything too risky. And if things work out correctly, they should be able to walk away with a first here.
Yeah, Fujisawa's game plan, I think, is avoid any risk at all cost. Even the first is going to erase some of those negative points, so you make distance on tiebreakers. And again, getting +3 points is the ultimate tiebreak winner. Just get it more points than anybody else. Why take additional risk
Yeah,
if
it's
you
that
can
simple.
secure the 3?
Yeah, not really breaking away from their usual play style.
Mhm.
Fujisawa seems to be playing this very close to the chest.
Yeah, definitely has gone for some riskier routes and some more expensive, slower hands, but definitely does not feel like Fujisawa likes to extend, make calls, and really fish for those high value wins. Just keeping in the hand, playing Damos, playing Riichis, trying to back away when there's too much threat on the board.
Yeah, Kawahara, one tile away. Just got to hit it correctly. Looks like, yeah, this is Kawahara's moment. You have your dealership, your Ishan 10 on the first row. I imagine as soon as they hit Tenpai, they are just gonna slam.
Well,
And did I get a
here's the problem
Hmm,
because 3 players are Ishan 10 now. We have Kawahara, Yajima, I believe Miyauchi. Yep, Miyauchi's Ishan 10. So all of a sudden, that first row speed not looking as good as it was a couple turns back.
it's not as good,
And
but
even
again, this is
Fujisawa.
your dealership. This may have to be your moment. Whether it's a good fight or not, you might just have to take it.
Yeah, sometimes that is the risk. We are going to see a bit of a switch up. Miyauchi, I trust that was the most efficient. I think also plays 2 Dora,
I think it
which the
was
other
more
routes
of a
don't.
door acceptance. Yes.
Yes. I think it gets an extra tile too with the bamboo and the sozu. Like now you have like 3 so's and 6 so and added. Weird. That's one where I need to go back and study it because there's too much going on these quick changes.
Yeah. It's hard to look at the full efficiency when we get to look at these hands for at most 5 seconds at a time.
Really interesting decision for dealer Kawahara. Has a 2-3-4 Sanshoku that's not guaranteed. Was able to play it, maybe drop back like 2 mon from the 3-5-5. Opts to drop from that 2-4-6 Ryankon in the Pinzu, and very satisfied with that decision. Drops another 2-pin as well. I mean, good read because 3 pins are very dead right now. Looking very bad. So it would have been a hard tile to win out of. But again, still Ishan 10, same as everybody else. Nobody is finding their winners. That will do it, though. And we have first Riichi for dealer Kawahara. It is going to be Riichi, I think, Nomi, right? Well, Riichi Nomi with a possibility of Tanya on the Formon.
We'll have to double check when it comes back around. But Yajima gonna have to drop this 9 of dots, which was safe. And yeah, it was the 1 of 4 of characters.
Yep. No Dora
So
in
if
the
they hit the
hand,
4,
too.
they might get Tanya, right? Did I read that shape right? In the
Yes.
2 seconds I got to look at it.
Yeah, but the problem is 2-4 is already on the board. It's definitely a
Just
very
hit.
scary time. Oh, okay, my bad. I forgot about that. You know what?
Hey,
You're right sometimes,
if
Kyle.
Yajima can
Oh my
Apatsu a
god.
Dora, see, just
Okay.
hit.
You know what? You're right. I forgot about that. The mantra of just winning at this game. And that's
Yeah,
gonna be
did
a
you
quick
forget
2K
how good
all.
these players are? They're just gonna hit. It do feel well, you've played some pros. It do feel that way sometimes. They just hit.
That is true. My experience with pro players is they hit and they will punish you for minute mistakes that you make almost every time. That seems
Definitely.
to
And
be
that's
what they do. That's why they're up there and I'm down here. They're doing something right.
exactly.
Doing
Yeah, and
200 things
Kawahara.
right.
Yeah. That win is going to put her into third place, let her get a dealer repeat. Miyauchi still like pretty close on her third place.
Yeah.
So Kawahara is going to try to have to get another banger of a hand
I mean,
to come out on this. And that was a really interesting starter.
On the 9-so?
Well, no, not the discard, but the starting hand that they got. We'll see it when it comes back around.
Oh yeah, with the south pair and now the pair of 8 pins, so a bit of flexibility. Definitely looking like they were trying to build in the possibility of a higher route Honitsu later into the hand if the draws hit right.
Ooh, okay.
I would assume Chun is coming out. Oh my goodness, we're going aggressive. Kawahara wants this to be her round. We're dropping 8-9 mon. Still keeping the 8p pair, I believe, for a Chitoi or just safer to push later, but looks like Kawahara really wants a Honitsu that is now not happening because we drew 8 on Ka. Yeah.
That's so interesting because I would have never made that discard in a million years.
Never would have thrown 8-9 mon.
No, I just don't have that vision.
I think I would have done the Chun first and kept it in the back of my mind. Maybe if I get like a White Dragon pair, but it worked out. It was a good try. And I mean, still, hand progressed. It's not like 8-9 mon, too much is lost. The end weight's not very good either. Now a much better end weight. Maybe even an Itsu in the Bamboo Dora suit also on the table.
Yeah, it's gonna work out for Kawahara because now that you see these, a red dragon was played, two white dragons have been played.
Yeah.
When you get into your winning shape, you're gonna get there very safely.
Get there safely, and also just have a chance. If you push a Honitsu, you have to draw into those. It's looking like Kawahara would not have been able to get there. And now is able to enter Ishanten as a result on the south and the 4-so pair. Interested if Kawahara is going to pawn the south if it comes up. It would be South Door 1, so not the worst, with the Honba 3200 as the dealer, but on a 5-so, 8-so weight, maybe you let the first pass try to Riichi catch somebody off guard.
Yeah, that's such an interesting position to be in because one of the mindsets. Oh, we have a 7 pairs route.
We got like
one
3.
of the mindsets is do you use this hand to try to go for a quicker win to give yourself just a little bit more room to make your next big hit the one that actually overtakes? I the Street Fighter analogy I like to use is when you land the combo, do you burn your level 3 that's not going to kill, or do you just go for a regular combo and try to hope that the next hit will then cash out the level 3 for the kill?
There's some thought there. I mean, time's going to play a big part of it too. The hand is getting later in. Now I'd imagine end of second row, Kawahara would want to snap call the south, maybe even snap call the 5-8 Chi just to be able to guarantee get Tenpai this late in.
Yeah, if you can't lock in this hand for the win, at least try to get the call in for the dealership. Oh, but we're going to slam. And that's south is immediately going to get called.
Okay, so now we have Tenpai on 5-8-so, which is 8-so Genbutsu to the Riichi by Miyauchi. Miyauchi is Tenpai for Chitoi on Dora. Oh my goodness! We can't break for the life of us. A stick goes on the table. It's a guaranteed draw on this. And all of a sudden, Miyauchi, not Ipads, but reach Chitoi, Sumo, Dora 2. And it must have been Flip for Hanuman as well. That was 3K, 6K. All of a sudden, Miyauchi in a fantastic position, and Kawahara dragged down to the depths. Has her work cut out for her to be able to not get a 4th here.
I don't know if I'll ever be this good. Oh my god, what am I watching? They don't miss. Honestly, these players just don't miss.
To be fair, it's pretty even on the table. I think like 3 of the players have at least done it once. So
Exactly.
It's
All
not
of these
everybody
players just
coordinating.
gap us so hard. It's crazy.
This game deals in funny ways. It likes something and it keeps shoving it out to the players. Maybe like Riichi sumos, they're just working, especially on the high value weights.
Oh my god, all these starting hands are actually insane too.
Yeah,
Everyone's
everybody's
looking
got
pretty close.
cannons. Interesting decision here from Yajima. Is not going to take a 2-3-4 Sanshoku edge. Instead, likes getting rid of that Pinzu shape, I believe it was. Dealer Fujisawa has the
Yep.
Anko of the Hatsu. Now Fujisawa's got to be feeling the heat a little bit and might want to get a win or two to build up more of a lead.
Fujisawa is in a good spot though. They have that
Mhm.
triple of green dragons in hand. They don't need to do anything fancy. They can get this win in without anyone noticing.
I mean, again, value is going to play a big part too, though. It'll be interesting without a Dora drawn or dropped what Fujisawa decides to do. Now Ishanten.
Ooh.
Maybe it depends on the weight too. Fujisawa might decide that 7 so Kanchan as the end weight is not good enough. Just winning on the 7 of bamboo is not worth it. Riichi might dominate that, but on a strong side weight might decide, you know what, this is it. Tempai? No, not Tempai.
Nope. Not quite.
Ishanten, but in a weird spot because you have this floating Dora
Yeah.
and is Kawahara says,
Oh
I need
yeah.
value. I need to find it. I just saw Chitoi Hanemon. Why don't I give that a try? Let's see if the wall really is giving it to everybody who takes the challenge and is
It's like, oh,
rewarded
they're
with
just handing
Anko
things out.
North.
Oh, they
Okay,
actually
all of
might
a
hurt.
sudden.
Oh
Well,
damn.
that's
They just
Anko. So
know.
this might be Honitsu, like Dama Tempai on the White Dragon. Like there is an insane hand brewing here. And Anko up. We
I
are Ishanten for Yajima. Oh yeah, we're Honitsu. Early 9 cut too. It's weird. 8 so drop back. 6 mon, 8 mon, now the most likely weight for Fujisawa. Still not quite there. 7 so, not gonna break that Ishanten threshold. 2 pin is gonna hit Tempai. We're gonna Dama 6-8.
Yep. I love this Dama.
Don't want to take the risk. Let's just catch somebody off guard, get our points. It's getting kind of late. We want to make sure that we do not accidentally deal into a Dora bomb hidden, stowed away in somebody's pocket.
Yajima deep on the tank on this one. Decides to cut the 5 of bamboo. Wasn't
Yeah.
liking those characters at all. Considering the drops that Kawahara has done, and all the characters do
Mhm.
look terrifying.
And the 2-5 Nobetan still helps the head problem that is in the hand. So it's not even like you really lose too much dropping away from that Sozu shape. Ormon gonna come
Formon's
out,
gonna
unable to be
come out.
called. Green checked on the board, no call. Said okay. It's one marked out. Someone could have an Anko, which we know is true, but the players won't know for sure. Other than Fujisawa, we are going to see a snap call. Yajima taking Tempai on the 7 pin, 9 pin. Tumon comes out, unable to get
Ooh.
taken.
Hmm.
Oh, this is a hard decision. I would
Oh,
not
this is so
want to.
hard.
Okay, we're going to drop 3 Mon. We're going to play normal. It lets us Tonki on the Dora. We get Peiko like Dama on the Haku too. But 7 pin comes out. Yashima's able to snatch a win. Just a very simple 1K, but Fujisawa off dealership. And that, you know why that 1K is worth its weight in gold? Because now you know what range Yajima has.
Is it
Mangan
you're in
Sumo.
Mongon range. Yep.
Actually, technically was in Mangan Sumo before by barely,
Yeah,
just
but
by
it had to
100.
be
But
exactly
now,
sumo.
yeah,
Now you just get anyone on this. Just get the
that's true.
Mongon and then you're good. Doesn't matter how you do it.
And Kawahara, who has to push, has the incentive. Miyauchi definitely going to want to try to increase placement, has a decent gap to Kawahara. And that's Dora pair for Kawahara, so she might be looking to make some strides with this last hand.
Both Miyauchi and Yajima are in the same position. They just need a Mangan to take first. It doesn't matter how they get it, they just need to do it. Although Miyauchi is in the awkward spot where if they do win, they are just going to get a dealer repeat and then they're going to have to defend their first if they get it.
Yeah, figure out how to naturally pass dealership. There is no Tempai Yame, there is no Agari Yame, so a win or Tempai by dealer in first is not going to end the game. They're going to have to just pass it.
Kawahara has a really quick hand, but like the value doesn't look like it's anything.
Dora 2? Something.
Was it Dora 2? Did I miss that?
Yes,
Let
Dora
me
2,
come
unless I'm
back
looking at the wrong
around.
one. Yep, Dora 2 with
No, you
an
got it. Dora 2.
E-Peiko.
You're absolutely correct. Ooh, Dora 2. Yeah, with the double run.
Okay. You could drop 6 pin
Huh.
here and hedge a Chitoi. It's only 4 pairs, but you don't lose too much, and you're already overblocked the shape. So 6 pin. I imagine you have to keep the E-Peiko door too, no matter what. So
Yes.
I think I like 6 pin because you have to cut a shape no matter what. You lose the Sanshoku, but you keep the strong Dora shape. Oh, 7 mon.
Ooh.
I thought that was a
Huh.
lesser accepting version of the 6 pin drop, but maybe not. Maybe it also just sets up like a better trap later if you get on like a double
Well, it
pair weight
is,
on the
yeah, it
6.
sets up a trap. And as you said, it is keeping their options for 7 pairs.
Yeah, I mean that's what I would think the 6 pin does too. I guess maybe with the 4 pin on the
But then
board
you're
for
not
Yajima.
sacrificing that shape. Yeah, this is probably the best like way to hedge against multiple angles of attack. You're
Mhm.
not super hard committing
Oh,
one way or the other. I didn't see what tile they drew. I
8-so.
didn't see it what it
It was
was.
8-so, so it was Ishan 10 for a
Okay.
normal. Well, Ishan 10 for a Riichi Ipeiko Door 2 minimum. Mangan minimum with some Haneman upgrades on like a Pinfusumo. And I'd imagine you gotta slam this for the value. You're never changing your weight.
Huh.
Really? Ipeiko Door 2 is not enough to overtake. Maybe, I guess, waiting on the 1-so draw, which would technically increase the value of their hand.
Are they yeah, I don't know what the logic behind that is by not slamming.
I mean, maybe
It's
just
just
not
like not
confident
enough.
in the 3. Maybe reading the rest of the table thinks that the 3-so is just held up and not coming out. Doesn't think it's good in the
Oh, but are
wall.
you in a position to like even do that? Don't you just have to go? Like my thought is just you just have to go.
I mean, if it's not going to win, it's not going to win, which it seems to be a pretty good read so far. We do have a call from Yajima as well, looking to play this aggressive Honitsu. It won't pass Fujisawa
Damn.
unless it is direct. But okay, well now I was gonna really not even the 3-so Riichi, because there you could 3-so Riichi and then you're on Dora and 6-mon, which looks very good. Or at least looks trapped. Someone might toss it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I just don't know on that one.
I
But I
don't
guess
see
in
the
the
line.
meantime,
Yeah.
Yajima is gonna call up.
Gotcha my Ishanten with that call, correct?
I believe it did, yes. Try to get that half flush going.
6-mon kept in hand. It looks like Fujisawa
Yeah.
kind of playing a bit more defensively too.
Yeah,
Kind of keeping some of
Fujisawa
those weird
just has to
hands.
not get hit.
Oh, and South and
Okay, two.
West. South is a big deal. South can get us to Mangan. One held,
Yeah,
two
but
by
this lone south.
Fujisawa.
Yeah, Fujisawa is not dropping the south at all.
Yeah, I'd
So
imagine,
only one
especially
available.
Fujisawa. Because Fujisawa especially is like, well, if I give South on a Honitsu, that's definitely Mangan. We don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm in first. Definitely want to hold on to that. 3-mon tank here. Now Kawahara has to weigh in. Is the deal in guaranteed? And she is really thinking it over. Maybe even debating on like a 2-3-so drop or some weird stuff.
Yeah, it's just really interesting how she's wanting to play this hand. Like
Yeah.
her mindset on this is just on a level that I am not comprehending. So I'm curious to see what she does. All right, we're
Backs
just
away.
out. We're just out.
To be fair, maybe she's looking and thinking Miyauchi might have a weird Dama and wants to just avoid dealing in, trust Miyauchi to get Tenpai. Problem is, Miyauchi's hand, I think, is still Ryanshanten. Miyauchi is running out of tiles to get there.
Yeah, Fujisawa going to continue to fold it out. And that seven of
Yajima's
dots is
called the
going to get
Tenpai.
cheated up by Miyauchi.
But still, oh, yeah, still Ryanshanten after that as we get our Tenpai for
Wow.
Yajima, 3-6 mon. May even come out from
Crazy pickup.
Kawahara. May even come out from
Yeah,
Miyauchi too for
Miyauchi.
Tenpai.
Oh, yeah, Miyauchi might have to, if they want to keep Senpai, they might have to push this three of characters. And this three of catchers that you held on to, Kawahara, it is dangerous. I see you're already folding out. Good on you.
Well, I mean, again,
Oh,
still some Ishanten. I mean, Kawahara might try to take back into Tenpai, but the 3-6 mon does not look like a good push.
there's Dora again. You drew all four Dora this game. That's crazy.
No. Dora, that's Dora past it. Dora's
Oh,
one
wait,
so.
wait, wait.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not indicator.
I
No, I do the same thing. Don't worry, that's everybody does
I'll
that.
go 7 hands remembering it's Dora, and then just one other hand I'll be like, oh, it's just indicator.
But with so much happening too. Oh, the Formon. I don't think it was a pawn either, or a pawn earlier, so this wouldn't be an upgrade. Maybe debating on whether the West has a higher win rate. Yajima decides 3-6 mon is better to go with. And I think this is just going to end in a 1 Tenpai. And game ends because Miyauchi just does not have the tiles to get there.
No, she just stalled out.
Last straw, yep. And Yajima is able to get Tenpai. The only one in Tenpai.
And that's gonna do it for this game. Yajima, with the only one being in Tenpai, is gonna secure their second place. Fujisawa is gonna get first and do so much for their team.
Yep. Fujisawa able to collect those points. Super, super good. For raising team. I don't know. I can't speak for raising team Dohaji. A little bit further up, we can see made its weight in gold there. Able to keep pace and try and raise them higher. And DD Studio still collects +2 points, which is just keeping with the pack with AMC Tental and kind of being Queens too.
Yeah, they're also neck and neck.
Just
and it looks like the point spread it looks fairly even.
The point
where
spread is
there's only ever
much difference.
No, there's a little bit less. There's more of a clump up between like 4th and 8th. But every team is within 1 or 2 points of each other. Again, this format, still plenty of games to be played. Lots of opportunities for these teams to overtake each other.
Yeah, I mean, as the season goes on, statistically, we're expecting more of a spread. We're expecting these teams to grow a bit apart. But, I mean, the clumping is still insane. We still have over half the teams within 4 points. Almost half the teams within 3 points of each other. That could potentially even up in one game. Really, the only team that's starting to lag behind is All Serious. And they got +2 points. And Real Partner and Alban unable to get points in those last games. So even Serious is going to be able to catch up. But again, really, I think it's the top of the pack. It's going to be really important. Every spot's going to matter. And then the bottom, it's more just, let's try and avoid the cut line. You just got to not be last. Like ultimate 4th avoidance, and then a lot of intricacy and fighting as we get into the higher standings.
Yeah, as I look at these spreads and just how things are going out, I just got the sense that all of these games are going to matter, including the very last 35th game to determine placements. All of it's going to matter up until the very end, which is very exciting for us.
I mean, if we stick on board, if things go like they have been going, it is going to be super tight fights for all of these teams. We're halfway through, so if the point spreads stay like this, then it's going to be anyone's game in that 35th game, just like you're talking about.
All right, but that is gonna be our last game for tonight. Do we have any announcements that we need to give? We will be back tomorrow.
Yes.
I believe at
let's
5
see.
Eastern?
I think it's actually at 4 Eastern, if I'm not mistaken. But while I'm checking that, Kyle, when can we catch some of the other dates for our Mahjong Saikyosen Team Battles?
As you can see up on the screen, we have another one starting up tomorrow, and then we will have the 5th session on Thursday the 19th and Friday the 20th. And we're going to have another set the following week on the 26th and the 27th. And then it looks like we are taking a full month-long break. We do have WRC coming up at the beginning of July, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other tournaments going on. So we are not going to finish our final session until the beginning of August.
Be watching out too for the Sankei Shimbun Cup. It looks like June 12th and 13th. We're going to be having streams, so we're going to again be going 4 days back to... Oh, wait, that's today. I'm bugging out. In July, even without Sankei or Saikyosen Team Battle, we do have the Sankei Shimbun Cup on July 10th and 11th, so there will be a little bit of Mahjong action. And again, tomorrow, we're doing 3 more games for the Saikyosen Team Battle. That is going to start at 4 p.m. Eastern, so 1 hour earlier than what started today. And we're going to have an extra game going as well. Going to be even more exciting than what we've seen today.
Yep, and as we wrap up the stream, if you haven't already, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the World Riichi Championship YouTube channel to let us know that you want to continue to see more English commentary on these excellent pro Mahjong games.
Yeah, make sure to hit that little bell. Let's say you're like me, forget when we're going live. It'll just tell you. It sends you a notification. Technology's crazy. It just works. Again,
all right, and it looks like that's going to be it.
I was going to say huge shout out to our sponsor again, WRC. We love you. So excited for the tournament. JPML, again, so good. Sparrow's Nest Studios, super sick. Of course, all the hard people working on this and all the people who help us get these streams. Nothing but grateful for it. And I think like you were saying, Kyle, is that going to do it?
I think that's going to do it. We will see you all next time in less than 24 hours from now.
Yep.
So join us then.
4 p.m. Eastern. Mark your calendars. Take care and get some rest before it, y'all. You're going to need it.